In today's video, I wanted to start my journey through the main storyline featured in Fable 2. Fable 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. It's safe to say that it's my favorite in the series, and after playing through Fable Anniversary for the first time, it's gotten me even more excited to run through this one again. For this narrative, I'll be playing through the game's main story, listening to the dialogue, and detailing my experiences while pushing the story along. Similar to Fable Anniversary, Fable 2 relies heavily on morality, the good versus evil. It's possible to choose one far end of the spectrum, a wholly good or a wholly evil playthrough. It's also possible to just toe the line between the two, choosing one side when it's more beneficial. Plus, in Fable 2, there are even more alignments. Pure versus corrupt, funny versus scary, love versus hate, and wealthy versus poor. Towing the line, finding that middle ground would be a lot simpler. However, I believe in extremes. Not really, but because I chose a good and moral playthrough for Fable Anniversary, I wanted to switch things up for Fable 2 by playing an evil and corrupt character. In my opinion, the evil playthroughs are always a little more fun, but they don't quite fit that hero narrative that Fable tries to present. In any case, without further ado, let's officially dive into the story of Fable 2.
Oh, what was that? Oh, yuck. Well, I hear that's lucky. Like finding a four-leaf clover. Although I think I prefer the clover. Oh, look, little Sparrow. Castle Fairfax looks so nice in the snow. Imagine the grand dining hall. I bet Lord Lucian's having roast duck this time of year. But he must be really lonely since his wife and his little girl died. In that big castle, all by himself. If only we could live there. What is going on over there? Come with me, little brother.
As the game begins, the player takes control of Sparrow, the protagonist of this story. I personally chose to play as a young boy. By the look and sound of things, Sparrow and his sister Rose are living in poverty. They're currently residing in Bowerstone, specifically a region called Old Town. Old Town is filled with its fair share of shady characters.
Hello there, young Rose. You look hungry. Have you reconsidered my offer?
We'll never be that hungry. The answer is no.
You'll be back, and I'll be waiting for you.
It's no wonder that the two would do almost anything to get off the streets. Well, that's exactly where the story gets its footing. As a crowd gathers around some oddball merchant, several items go up for sale. The first one is a magical mirror, and by the sound of things, Murgo the trader is nothing more than a scammer.
This is truly a magical mirror. For as long as you look into it, it will make you beautiful.
I'll take it.
Very wise. Now, just remember, the magic only works if you look at it in complete darkness.
As the interest in Murgo begins to fade, he calls attention to another relic.
This small, unassuming box is actually a device created by the ancients, as used by the old kingdom rulers themselves. Turn the handle 3 times and you shall be granted a single wish.
There's no such thing as magic.
Calm down. Did he say it?
We live in grim times indeed, if the young are too world-weary to believe in magic. Most children your age believe eagerly.
Look, I can see your eyes are bad, but I'm telling you, that music box is rubbish.
That's what the seller thinks. He has no idea what he stumbled upon. But you have an inkling, don't you? Some part of you wants to believe it's magic.
What? You really think it could be?
For 5 gold coins, you could have your answer.
For 5 gold coins, we could eat for a week.
Listen to me, Rose. At the end of that week, you and your little Sparrow would be no closer to your dream, no closer to the inside of that beautiful castle.
What if it is real? I bet we could get 5 gold pieces, and maybe this could be a way out of here after all. What is there to lose, little Sparrow? Come on, There must be someone around here who'll pay us gold to do something.
This section of the story acts as an introduction to the game's quests. There are several people around Old Town who could use Sparrow's help, and they're willing to pay for it. However, like mentioned before, not all deeds are neutral. Some lean toward evil and corrupt acts, while others are seen as more good and moral. The very first one has the player interacting with a guard named Derek. Derek wants myself and Rose to fetch some arrest warrants that have blown away. It's a more passive task, as the documents are scattered across Old Town. Moving along and keeping that one in the back pocket, the next quest giver is a photographer named Barnum. Barnum claims to have invented the first camera, although that's not quite what he calls it. This is probably the simplest quest, as all I needed to do was strike a pose for the picture.
Be what?
Ah, yes, I've been improving my vocabularium with a wonderful book bought from Murgo the Trader. A thesaurus.
He's a bit silly, isn't he? But this could be fun.
Better to do. Load of crap.
Once the moment's over, Barnum hands Rose and I a gold coin and tells us to check in on the picture in 3 months' time. Regardless, that's 1 coin down and just 4 more to go. Continuing through Old Town, we stumbled onto quite the saddening sight. Some bully named Rex was hurting a stray dog. Rose went to go confront Rex, but it didn't work out so well.
Having a bit of fun. What's it to you? He hit a girl.
This portion of the story, while brief, serves as a minor introduction to the game's combat. Sparrow pulls out his wooden sword and begins to fight Rex. Although, Rex doesn't really fight back, and after a couple of hits, he ends up running away. Unfortunately, there's no gold for that deed, but at the very least, this stray dog has been saved. Plus, without spoiling too much, it's not the last we see of it. Moving along, I ended up running into a man named Balthazar. Balthazar needed some help with clearing out beetles in his warehouse. He wants me to exterminate them by any means necessary. Although, he has one rule: don't destroy any of his things. Entering the warehouse, it doesn't take long for Arthur, the creep from earlier, to call out to me.
Balthazar owes some protection money to Nicky the Nickname. So how about you leave the beetles and smash his stock up instead? I'll give you a gold on Mr. the Nickname's behalf.
This is the first quest where you get to choose either the good or the bad path. Both lead to the same outcome, 1 gold coin. But it's up to the player on how they want to be seen. Smash the stock or destroy the beetles. While I don't like Arthur, I'm trying to turn Sparrow into a monster, so breaking Balthazar's things is my best option.
Great work, kid. You've got a real talent there, you do. That'll teach Balthazar not to pay Nicky the Nickname. Here, catch.
I'm ruined. My stock is destroyed. You're not children. You're monsters. You're no better than those savage, vile beetles that are still in my warehouse.
The next deed has me speaking with a duo named Pete and Betty. Pete is drunk, and Betty clearly isn't fond of it. Apparently, someone stole Pete's bottle of booze, and he'd like it back. Betty also wants the bottle returned, but she'd rather that I hand it over to her. The thief is named Magpie, and he's located pretty close to the duo. Now, in this section of Old Town is where all of Derek's arrest warrants can be found. 4 of them are casually lying in the street. As for the 5th, well, it's tied to the current quest, Tramp's Treasure. Magpie can be found sleeping in one of Old Town's nooks. Beside him is Pete's bottle of booze. Carefully, I snuck beside him, grabbed the liquor, and walked back out, all without waking up Magpie. Now comes the big decision: hand the bottle over to Pete or to Betty. After hearing that the tramp is trying to quit drinking, I knew that handing him the bottle would further my own immoral compass.
Hold it! What you bang this in there for? This must be yours. Ah, I've got it!
You should be ashamed of yourself, getting children to fetch alcohol for you.
Yeah, you have a point. I guess it's a little pathetic.
With all 5 warrants in hand, I can now return to Derek and receive my 4th gold coin. Running on back, my path to the guard gets blocked off by none other than Arthur.
Listen, creep. I told you no this morning.
Shut it, girl. This isn't about that. Those warrants you're collecting, I want them.
So does our friend the guard.
Yeah, but you're going to give them to me, see? Otherwise there'll be trouble.
There'll be trouble, all right. You take these, and I'll tell our friend what you really want.
All right, you little hard case. What's he paying you? A gold piece? I'll give you a gold right here. Save you to walk back.
A gold's a gold, I guess. If you want the money right now, you could give him the
I
warrants.
knew you'd come through for me.
Handing the warrants over to Arthur not only secures Rose and I our 4th gold coin, but it also gives me more evil points. Interestingly, the future of Old Town gets altered greatly by Sparrow's current actions. This is something we'll come to see later in the game. Now, as for the 5th and final quest, in my opinion, it's the most intriguing.
Shh! I think Mother heard us. You again? I don't want you sniffing around my daughter. Now push off before I call the guards, you animal. Get in the house, Belinda. And clean those floors. They're as filthy as that no-good delinquent Monty.
Chatting with Romeo, aka Monty, he asks myself and Rose to deliver a love letter to Belinda. His only instructions are that Belinda's mother, Deirdre, doesn't get her hands on it. You can probably guess where this one's going. Knocking on the door, Deirdre answers, and Rose tells her that we're delivering some mail. In exchange for the letter, Rose asks for 1 gold coin, for postage of course. At this point, I got to choose whether I wanted to stick around for Deirdre's collection, or to head straight on up for Belinda. Picking the former, Deirdre hands us our final gold piece, coin number 5. However, she ends up taking a look at the letter and doesn't like what she reads.
Marry my daughter? Over my dead body? Where is he? How dare you propose to my daughter? Guards! I want to report a pervert!
It's not what you think. I wrote the letter for you.
What?
Yes, I couldn't hide my feelings any longer.
I knew you'd get the hint when I called you an animal. Now, show me you're an animal.
Oh,
With that, Rose and Sparrow now have the appropriate amount of funds.
Hello, children.
Hello, we've come to buy the music box.
Very wise little ones. Go ahead and turn the handle, but mind you go somewhere quiet like.
Let's go make our wish, little Sparrow.
Running back to the Overlook, Sparrow and Rose look up at Castle Fairfax as they begin to use the music box.
I wish. But where did it go? Why are we still here? 5 gold pieces. Let's just go to bed.
It wasn't all for nothing. In fact, from that point onward, the wheels of fate started to turn. Later that night, Sparrow and Rose are woken up.
Oh! All right, settle down. There's a nice, angry, stray dog.
Quiet, boy. What do you want?
I work for Lord Lucian, miss, and he would very much like to see you in his castle. I've been sent to collect you.
It did work. Our wish came true. Come on, little Sparrow, wake up. It's all right, doggy. We're going to Lord Lucian's castle. I'll come back for you, I promise.
Running along, we met with an escort of guards who took us up to Castle Fairfax.
Evening, Jeeves. Here are the children Lord Lucian asked for.
Excellent. Hello, young masters.
Hello, sir.
If you'd follow me, please.
We look up at this castle every day and think how nice it is. We both do. But inside, it's even more beautiful than I imagined.
It is quite wonderful, isn't it? Ah, hello, Master Garth. Ha, a man of few words.
Where is the grand dining hall?
Oh, in the north wing. Lord Lucian hasn't been in there since the tragic deaths of Lady Fairfax and little Amelia.
Oh, I heard. That was so awful.
Yes, he misses them terribly.
So, where does he eat?
Actually, he takes most of his meals in his study. He's in there working all hours doing research.
What does he research?
And history, mostly. Lord Lucian is quite keen on antiquities of all sorts, but he's chiefly interested in things relating to the Old Kingdom.
There was a trader in Old Town who said his stuff was from the Old Kingdom.
Yes. I believe Lord Lucian heard about that.
We bought a piece of it, and we made a wish, and now we're here.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, when you meet Lord Lucian, you must show respect at all times. Address him as my lord, speak only when spoken to.
Yes, sir.
And do not mention Lady Fairfax or Amelia.
Entering Lord Lucian's office, he seemed hard at work. He was face down in his study. However, he still managed to make time for myself and Rose.
Children, it's come to my attention that you have some sort of magic box. May I see it?
It vanished, my lord. We were winding it up and we made a wish and then it started to glow and it disappeared.
After you used it?
Yes, my lord. The man who sold it to us said it was magic.
The box is of no interest to me. What's remarkable is that you were able to use it. What was your wish?
Oh.
Well, speak up. What did you wish for?
To live in a castle, like this one.
Perhaps that could be arranged. I'm working to rebuild... Well, I'm working on something wonderful, for which I need individuals with particular talents. Let us find out if you possess them. Would you kindly stand in the circle, please? I promise it won't hurt you.
Moving to the back of the room, Rose and I stepped on the platform. All of a sudden, it started glowing blue. Shimmers of light surrounded the circle.
It's true. Your blood. You are heroes.
Heroes? You mean like in the old stories?
What are you? Wait.
My lord!
Something here.
What's that light?
Quiet! You're heroes, but you're not any of the three. One of you is the fourth.
What's happening?
This isn't what I wanted. But nothing must stand in my way.
No, wait! Don't! No!
I can't allow you to live either. I'm sorry.
Death is not your Lucian disappeared from Castle Fairfax that night, certain that those who might stand in his way were dead. But some grief is so great, even death may keep its distance. And so the boy survived. Days later, far from the dark alleys of Bowerstone, life slowly returned to his small, broken body. The boy awoke to a familiar face watching over a strange bed. He reached out for the comfort of the dog's warm fur, ready to take his first steps in a new life. 10 winters blanketed Albion. 10 summers filled the air with the sounds of insects and laughter. With time, the boy's pain turned to strength. His grief became will. A will to change the world and to avenge the death that still haunted his every dream. Ah, there you are. And your faithful friend, too. Many years ago, I promised I would help you avenge your sister's death. That day has come. Today, you leave the safety of this camp and seek out Lucian. The journey will not be easy. There's a chest near your caravan. I've left a few things inside that might prove useful. Meet me by the gates when you're ready to leave.
10 years have passed since that one tragic night. 10 years of thoughts, regret, and anger. Little Sparrow isn't quite so little anymore. My character is now a young man, and he's got quite the journey ahead of him. Right now, I'm in a place called Gypsy Camp. It's where I've grown up, repaired my broken body, and honed my skills as a hero. To be honest, it's quite the cozy spot. There's a community here, people I know and trust. I could have an easy life that's filled with fake joy and artificial pride. However, my destiny is out there, in the world of Albion. Mine and Lucian's dark fates are intertwined. Gaining access to the equipment chest, it holds a rusty longsword, a light splintered crossbow, some health potions, as well as a spade.
Now come with me.
Open the gate!
Have you rescued any princess?
Good luck.
Take this. It is a powerful artifact, the kind of which all heroes once carried. It will grant you access to places others cannot go. It will also allow me to talk to you when necessary. Now, look down towards the lake. The seal will allow you to enter that tomb. In its darkest depths lies the Chamber of Fate. When you come out again, you will be stronger, much stronger. Now go.
Running out into the wild, the world is at my fingertips. Now, there are some important mechanics to discuss. Number 1 is my dog. Not only is he here for emotional support, but he also serves an important purpose. He's a scavenger. He's able to notify me of nearby treasure and dig spots. In Fable Anniversary, the player was left to their own devices for that. However, treasure hunting is a little more simplified in the sequel. The next mechanic is the glowing quest trail. You'll probably notice the lack of maps in Fable 2. They're still there, they're just buried in the menu screen. For Fable 2, the glowing quest trail shows you the fastest way to your objective. In my opinion, it's a fair trade. While the map was extremely useful for surveying the surrounding area, the trail is quick and to the point. Plus, as you'll see, Fable 2's Albion is a lot less linear than Fable Anniversary's. Stepping foot on the island and approaching the tomb, I placed the seal on the doors and gained entry to the dungeon. Upon heading inside, I could sense something was off. My dog was frightened. He could practically feel the pain and destruction that wreaked havoc here. However, fear is just a part of the journey. As per Teresa's request, I dove down into the waters below. This act sealed my fate, as the only way out was forward. By the way, I haven't touched on it much yet, but for those who played/watched the first Fable, you already know who Teresa is and her role in the series. For those who don't know, the Chamber of Fate is where a lot of lore gets revealed. The crawl through the tomb has me facing off against my first real enemy, giant beetles. Because I chose to destroy Balthazar's stock, I never got to experience them. Well, they aren't much of a challenge. One swing with my sword or one shot with my crossbow does the trick. The thing is though, their numbers are plenty, so I've got a little bit of work cut out for me. While Sparrow's childhood served as a great introduction to the game, this crawl acts as the real tutorial for the meat of Fable 2, the combat. When an enemy/NPC dies, they drop experience orbs. The orbs are divided into 4 categories: will, strength, skill, and general experience. Each category of experience is used to purchase its own set of upgrades. General experience orbs help to offset some of the costs from the other 3 categories. Because it's early game and I hadn't turned off tutorials yet, you'll soon see that the UI was adamant in telling me that I had upgrades available and could purchase them at any time. About halfway through the crawl, I encountered some sort of magical switch. I had to shoot at it in order to progress. While it seemed like a rather easy task, it's meant to ensure that only heroes can get through the upcoming gates. After traversing through the tomb's winding tunnels and slashing through more beetles, I wound up at the second switch trial. This time, I had to shoot it 2 times with my crossbow and hit it once with my sword. Again, not the trickiest thing in the world. However, it ended up unlocking a set of ancient-looking doors. On the other side of them is the Chamber of Fate, aka the old Guild of Heroes from Fable Anniversary.
For centuries, this academy trained the most supremely gifted sons and daughters of Albion, bound together by the blood that flowed in their veins. Once worshipped by the people of Albion, the great heroes came to be feared and hated. No man alive today remembers the night the guild burned, and now it lies forgotten. But the heroes are not all gone. You are here, and that same heroic blood flows through you. Look around at these walls. Your forebear, one of the mightiest heroes who ever lived. At a young age, he suffered a devastating loss, from which he never truly recovered. But when the world tried to crush him, he fought back. He grew strong, strong enough to reshape the world as he saw fit. You must do the same. The guild has reacted to you. Step into the light. Learn the true power of heroes. Your blood is awakening. You can now channel the experience you have collected into strength, skill, or will. Strength improves combat with hand-to-hand weapons. Skill allows you to shoot faster and with greater accuracy. Will gives you control over the forces of magic. Before you is a color's gate. It reacts to the will of one who seeks to use it. You have not been able to use will yet, but the simple act of reaching this place has given you will experience. You need to learn a will ability to activate the color's gate.
From here, I'm able to access the ability screen and can start funneling experience into new upgrades. In order to leave the Chamber of Fate, I need to cast a willpower, or a spell, which is now only available to me. Now, as revealed by Teresa, Sparrow's ancestor is the hero of Oakfield, aka the protagonist from the first game. That means that Sparrow is also related to Scarlet Robe, as well as Teresa, the seeress from Fable Anniversary, who's now my mentor of sorts. That makes my character a descendant of the heroes from the Old Kingdom. Therefore, I have unimaginable power and potential running through my veins. It's also a teaser as to why Lord Lucian tried to kill me as well as my sister. However, the exact reason gets revealed a little later. Using my new power on the switch, a Collis Gate or teleporter gets activated. Stepping into it, it brings me back out into Albion. Here, I'm faced with the final challenge of the tomb. One last wave of giant beetles. This time though, I get to see my newfound willpower in action. Once the way is clear, Teresa instructs me to make my way to Bowerstone. There, my progress with reaching Lord Lucian can proceed. The surrounding area of Bower Lake is relatively peaceful, at least for now. Or rather, it's best to say that it's peaceful depending on where you step. There are a couple of powerful enemies that wait for a weary traveler to stumble on by. The road to the big city is quiet and rather lonesome. It's just me and my dog running through the moonlight. There's a great deal of peace and serenity in this moment though. The atmosphere is pretty incredible, and it truly feels like I'm on this grand journey. Soon, I ended up running into some sort of barricade. On the other side of it is a guard, and he's not letting anyone through anytime soon.
Apologies, citizen. The road to Bowerstone is closed due to the bandit activity. I'm afraid that as long as the bandit Thag is alive, the road stays closed. If you're in an hurry like, you can always take care of Thag yourself.
Of course, it couldn't be all that easy. Some obstacle was bound to present itself eventually. Following the trail, Thag's bandit camp is pretty close to the barricade. The path leading up to the camp was a little too quiet. I could see Thag's outposts, but there weren't any thugs or ruffians standing in the way. Waltzing on through the gates, Teresa says what we're all thinking.
Keep your wits about you. It may be a trap.
Look out! It's an ambush!
The bandits make themselves known, and it's time for the real fighting to begin. Gone are the weak beetles. Now, it's time for some equal matchups. Well, not really. These bandits are also pretty beginner friendly. A couple of swings with my blade, a shot or two with my crossbow, and even a handful of willpowers will do the trick. In this instance, the bandits come out in waves. It starts out with 2 at a time, then it moves to 3, and then it ends at 4.
No one defies Thag the Impatient. I'll gut you myself. I'll give you 3 seconds to get ready. No, wait, 2! Oh, soddy.
Thag looks intimidating and is noticeably bulkier than the other bandits, but he's still an introductory boss. Even though he's got quite a lot of health, he takes a long time to let off an attack, and said attack is pretty easy to dodge. He takes flinch damage and is vulnerable to all attack types. Before long, I was able to deliver the killing blow on Thag and end his reign of terror. Not only did this deed help to progress the story, but it also gave me some renown. Renown serves as my character's fame, how well his deeds and actions are known across Albion. Later down the line, it plays a big factor in story progression. Before leaving Thag's camp, I took care of one minor detail. There were some slaves locked in a cage, and they informed me that the key was in Thag's hut. Retrieving it, I stepped back outside and came across a thug named Dick, or Richard if you're fancy. Richard informed me that he had already made a payment for the people inside the cage. He doesn't want any trouble though, and promised to make it worth my while. The good outcome is defeating Dick and freeing the captives. The evil outcome is handing Dick the key and turning your back on the situation.
I said shut it! I'm not gonna tell you again. Nice doing business with you. Hear that, you lot? You're mine now!
You bastard!
I always knew you were no good. I'll curse the name Sparrow the rest of my days.
A few coins change hands, and a few honest folk are condemned to years of misery. Is your heart so hard? Perhaps you will destroy Lucien for the wrong reason, but I suppose it will have to do. Meet me in Bowerstone Market by the clock tower. There is something you must see.
Again, while it's just a taste of what's out there, there are so many side quests and deeds that can shape the world around you. Choosing to bring good into this world will only breed more good. However, the same could be said for being evil. Chaos and destruction only bring on more chaos and destruction. Returning to the road, the barricade leading to Bowerstone has been removed. Now, Sparrow can march on for 27 in-game hours and reach the market. Upon arrival, I was immediately harassed by a bard. I know, ironic.
Listen to this. A hero went to Bower Lake and gave the Thag a bellyache.
Believe it or not, Roland does serve a purpose. He sort of acts as a tour guide for Bowerstone Market. The bard will comment on all of the stores and structures. He'll fill you in on what they're used for, their origins, and he might even throw in an odd quip here and there. Running up to the town square, Teresa is nowhere to be found.
I have bad news. I'm afraid I will be delayed for a while. In the meantime, you should buy some new equipment and prepare for the challenges ahead. But you'll need money. If you need money, there are jobs to be found. I believe the blacksmith has an opening.
This section is quite clever. It forces Sparrow to have a look around the market. One of my all-time favorite things in Fable is working as a blacksmith. It's probably one of the simplest features in the game, but for some reason I find it so addicting. All you have to do is press A when the circle is in the green bar. This counts as a successful hammer. After 5 hits, the blade is complete and you're paid out a sum of gold. The more successes you get in a row, the higher your gold multiplier gets. After a certain threshold of gold has been hit, Sparrow receives a promotion. This promotion leads to more gold, then better opportunities to earn gold. However, a mistimed hit puts you back at the start of your current promotion's gold multiplier, so you have to build back up to the big bucks. Not the worst penalty, but it's still a setback. Something that Fable 2 takes very seriously is its economy. Almost everything can be bought, sold, and invested in. Money truly makes Albion go round, and you can become a real estate tycoon in this game. You can raise the economy and lower the economy. This ultimately affects your alignment and can act as a great way to make passive income. It's a minor feature, but it just goes to show that there's so much more to Fable 2 than meets the eye. After those 5 minutes are up, Teresa appears at the town square, and it's back to business for Sparrow.
I apologize for the delay. Events are moving quickly indeed. Think about your life. All the places you've been, the people you've known, everything you've done. How many moments, how many memories. Thag and his men, they had just as many. And now they have none, because of you. Do you feel the weight of responsibility yet? Your enthusiasm will have its uses, but mind it does not consume you.
You're new round here.
Come. The world is better off without Thag, and certainly Bower Lake is in your debt. But to really see the impact of your actions, you need look no further than Bowerstone. It has changed much since you lived here, particularly Old Town, where you spent your childhood. Never forget that even the simplest choice can have far-reaching consequences. Look, that is where Lucian is now, the tattered Spire. The Spire was intended as a conduit for all the magic in the world, granting the kingdom's ruler a power so great he could bend reality to his will. On the day it was completed, and the first wish made, a light bloomed inside, though its nature could not have been darker. Albion shattered. Centuries of civilization were wiped out in moments. Its people erased from existence. Some say that this was the first wish, an end to a hollow and corrupt world, and for a purer one to take its place. And now the Spire rises once again, by Lucian's hand. Lucian found documents which foretold the coming of one who would stop him using the Spire. That is why your sister died. And that is why you will face him. The cards have shown me this. Here. Take a look. Each of the 3 heroes you see in the cards is a step on the hidden path to Lucian's downfall. And the life force of heroes, will itself, is the key to the Spire's power. Lucian's agents scour the land even as we speak. You must find the 3 heroes before Lucian does, because you are the 4th, the one who will bring his downfall. I have seen a vision of a holy ritual in Oakfield. Salvation, though bittersweet, is delivered by one of incredible strength. Speak to the abbot at the Temple of Light and see what you can learn of this pilgrim. The road to Oakfield will be dangerous. Good luck.
There you have it. The reason Lord Lucian summoned Sparrow and Rose to his castle all those years ago. The reason Rose died and why Sparrow suffered tremendous injuries. My character isn't one of the prophesized 3 heroes. He's not one of the ones who will help or be forced to help in rebuilding the Spire, Lucian's lifelong work. Sparrow is actually the 4th hero, the Dark Horse, the one who's actively working against the Lord. It's why the light turned from blue to red when Rose and Sparrow were in Lucian's office. It was a reaction of opposing forces. 2 destinies that are intertwined, yet working against one another. Part of Sparrow's adventure to Oakfield involves going through Old Town, mine and Rose's old stomping ground. Upon arrival, I was met by none other than Arthur. He explains that ever since that day, 10 years ago, him and his associates have taken control of the district. Because I gave the arrest warrants to Arthur and not Derek, Lucian fired the guard and left Old Town without any law or justice. The district wasn't anything special before, but now it's somehow even more run down and unfriendly. It wasn't a place I liked calling home, but now it's definitely not the home that I remember. However, it is the home that I helped to shape. Fortunately, I'm just passing through, as the path to Oakfield runs right out of Old Town. It doesn't take long for me to reach the cliff tops of Rookridge. Rookridge is crawling with bandits. They've been able to take control of most of the roads, hijacking carts and killing travelers. A couple of the ruffians were set up on a high point, overlooking the path. They had the road locked down and shot anyone who wandered on sight. Teresa suggested that I take them on in a firefight, as it'd be a lot safer. For now, it is, but the battle took a while to complete. Plus, let's just say that these guys respawn frequently, so for the future, it's probably just better to bull rush onto the scene. Continuing along the road, I came across some pocket forces of bandits, usually no more than 5, and they died relatively quickly. The battles weren't anything crazy, and the bandits' attacks weren't that powerful. Just some ways for me to rack up the XP and to get a little more combat experience under my belt. However, a little further down the line, I hit an unforeseen roadblock.
Oh look! Another traveller! Wanna get to Oakfield? You'll have to swim, lovey.
Yeah, jump! 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 Jump!
Following their advice, I dove down to the waters below. It worked, but now I had to find a new way to Oakfield. Little did I know, this detour would prove to be extremely dangerous. Swimming to the nearest shore, I ran into a man named Herman. Herman told me that he lost his son, Joey, in the nearby cave. The dungeon's called Hobbe Cave, and if you don't know the lore behind Hobbes, you're about to find out.
Oh, it's lucky you happened by. I didn't dare come in by myself. You see, well, I probably should have mentioned this, but there might be 1 or 2 Hobbes in here. I'd always heard the stories, that Hobbes carry off children and turn them into more Hobbes. But those are just stories, right? I can't imagine.
Running through the dungeon, it doesn't take long for us to come across their feeding pit. Piles of bones, corpses, old and new, as well as bloodstains all over the ground. Hobbes feed off of human flesh. Hobbes are essentially Albion's goblins. They're small creatures, but what they lack in size, they make up for in strength and numbers. They're certainly more powerful than bandits and can pack a heavier punch.
That's Joey! I can hear him! I'm coming, son!
As Herman runs on ahead, I'm forced to deal with a group of Hobbes all by my lonesome. Not that he really helped with the fighting anyway. For my combat style, I personally like to single out an enemy, defeat them, and then move on to the next one. I find it easier to eliminate them one by one, rather than trying to take out multiple at a time. Once the room was cleared, I continued down the path and caught up with Herman. Joey was apparently on the other side of the door, and as Herman tried to pry it open, he sent me off to find another way around.
I was too late. They turned my son into... And I always told him those stories were made up. They were true.
As the Hobbe version of Joey dies, Herman also bites the dust, leaving me alone in this Hobbe-infested cave. The upside is there's only one more area for me to clear. The downside is that said area is filled with Hobbes. There are groups of creatures stationed at each connecting point. The walkways are tight, which makes the fighting a little more difficult. Plus, there's a new type of Hobbe, the bombers. They have a loaded powder keg strapped to them, and they'll run right over to Sparrow. The explosion deals massive amounts of damage. However, it usually ends up doing more good than harm. The other Hobbes also take that damage, and typically it ends up killing them. Another good strategy for this area was using the edges to my advantage. By attacking a Hobbe near a ledge, my character would end up kicking them off, which instantly killed them. This saved a lot of time in the long run. Exiting back out into Rookridge, my journey could finally resume. Dispatching the bandit force on the bridge, I continued along the road until finally I hit Oakfield. Oakfield was like a breath of fresh air. After seeing what Rookridge had to offer, this small town was a delight to be in. Fresh meadows, long crop fields, peaceful roads, and friendly townsfolk.
Oakfield is among the lushest regions of Albion. It owes its fertility to the extraordinary golden oak, which lives for only a few decades before producing a single golden acorn. The monks of the Temple of Light replant this acorn, and as the tree is reborn, so are all the lands and farms of the The abbot is quite nervous about the ritual. See what you can find out.
Running along one of the pathways, I soon laid eyes on the Temple of Light. As an evil character, this should be my garlic and sunlight, but there's just something so comforting about it. It's sort of like a lackluster Rivendell from Lord of the Rings, but with the same calming effect.
Father, the sacred texts clearly say that only 2 monks may enter the cave, no one else.
I'll not send my only child into unknown dangers without any protection. I will find an escort, and that's the end of it. Ah, hello there, my child. I wonder... Brothers, leave us. Let me take a look at you for a moment. Armed? Quite imposing.
Heathen.
But I can't send just anyone in there. I suppose danger is not everyone's cup of tea. You look imposing, all right, but I can't entrust our community's survival to a complete stranger. Perhaps if you built up a reputation, I'd be more inclined to trust you. Yes, Rookridge has been having a horrible time with bandits lately. Why don't you go to the tavern and see if you can do anything about them? That would be a good start.
The blessing must go forward if you're to find the pilgrim. You must gain the abbot's favor. Perhaps you can find a way to impress him in the town. Use your map to see where quests and jobs are.
After killing Thag, I mentioned that renown would eventually come into play. Well, here it is. The abbot needs me to rack up 500 points of renown. This can be done by completing quests, making investments, starting families, etc. Similar to my time in Bowerstone Market, it's the game's way of nudging me towards its other features and stories. The game wants the player to explore around and experience all that Albion has to offer. It's definitely something I can respect. By the way, while Teresa talked about it back in Bowerstone, I personally haven't really touched on it yet. My current goal is to find the 3 heroes before Lucian does. The first of the 3 is the Pilgrim, and Teresa believes that they're somewhere here in Oakfield. Due to what she's seen in her visions, she believes that the abbot is involved. The other 2 cards are the Thief and the Mage. Without spoiling too much, the Thief is my favorite of the 3 heroes. What's more, in my opinion, they are one of the most interesting characters in all of Fable. However, for now, it's best that I keep the focus on the Pilgrim, and in order to do that, I need to rack up renown. For this portion of the story, I ended up doing quite a lot of tasks. Some gave me renown, while others didn't. The first quest I did was menial, but it didn't take very long. I modeled for a sculptor. All I had to do was hold a pose, and then released it when she said so. Not much renown from that one, but it was still something. The next quest I did was for my old friend, Barnum, the photographer from Old Town. In short, he recently made some investments on the bridge in Rookridge. However, as we all know, that bridge has been blown to bits, and with the frequent bandit activity, reconstruction is practically impossible. My job is to roll into the old inn, defeat the bandits, and chase any of the remaining forces out of the area.
Get him!
The fight in the inn isn't that bad. The only thing is that the rooms are tight and the gunmen have the upper ground. While I'm busy slashing away at the foot soldiers, there are shooters taking potshots at me.
You think you're gonna catch me? Why do you think they call me Dash? Stupid! I could outrun the guards before I was out of nappies. What chance have you got? The last idiot who tried to chase me went blue in the face and killed over, and I was already miles away.
That's the leader, Dash. Once he's defeated, this whole operation gets sorted out. However, reaching him is the issue. It's not even really an issue per se, it's just a long crawl through the bandit forces. Several groups are stationed across the cart tracks. Their numbers can range anywhere from 4 to 6 ruffians, and the trek to Dash is a long one. However, after a lot of hacking, slashing, and XP collecting, Dash himself is quite the easy foe. A singular ranged shot does the trick, and with it comes 250 renown, Dash's goggles, and Barnum's thesaurus. The next thing I tried was working for the Assassination Society. It's a job that's right up my character's alley. Their spokesperson, Mr. Blank, is located in Old Town. Speaking with him, he gives me a contract. I'm to assassinate a beggar named Dave. Dave lives in the Bowerstone Market, and the reason for his assassination is because he apparently has the world's most annoying laugh. Dave was asleep underneath the Bowerstone Bridge, and killing him was pretty easy. While I got paid out a decent sum of gold, it didn't give me any renown, and I was back to looking for more work. The next quest I embarked on was a little more fruitful. It was called Till Death Do Us Part. Hoofing it back to Rookridge, I fought my way through the bandits, and eventually landed at a small nook. By the statue overlooking the water, I came across a sad ghost named Victor.
Are you looking at me? Can you see me? Yes. Excellent. It won't be easy though. You'll have to make her fall in love with you utterly and completely. Then, when she's ready to accept your proposal, when she can't imagine her life without you, give her this. I've spent a long time thinking of the exact right wording. And even longer getting it onto paper. I am incorporeal after all, which makes it all the more impressive that I managed to get this too. In case you need the help, or no, I did.
While Victor didn't explain much about the situation, I'm sure you can start to piece things together. In any case, once Alex, the victim for this quest, is seduced, she has a little tell-all moment. Alex can be found in the Bowerstone Market at the Cow and Corset Inn. Seducing her is rather simple. In fact, it's rather easy to gain the trust of just about anyone in the game. Using the directional pad, I'm able to flash a bunch of emotes at her. Some of those emotes are considered to be aligned as funny, while others are aligned as scary. They affect the NPC's feelings towards you, which is reflected in the bar at the top of the screen. The longer you hold an emote, the more impactful it can be. For this mission, I have to get her to like me, so the whole scary and evil approach isn't really an option. Once she's at the level where she feels like she can marry me, Alex fills me in on what happened between her and Victor.
I'm just the luckiest woman in the world. I never thought I'd find happiness again. I never thought I'd deserve it. There's something I've never told you. I almost got married once before. He was a sweet boy, but we were both so young. Too young. I got scared and ran away the day of the wedding. I hurt him so badly. He took his own life. I've carried that guilt with me all these years, never dreaming I could love again. Until I met you.
From here, I can pick between giving her the note or destroying it and actually falling in love. For the sake of this quest and for an eviler approach, I picked the former.
Understand? It was all a trick? No, it can't be true. It can't be true! No!
Alex bolts out of the inn and flees Bowerstone altogether. Where she went off to, well, that's explained when I go back to Rookridge. There's now a second ghost standing with Victor, and wouldn't you know it, it's Alex. It appears as though she took her own life, similar to her former lover. She and Victor are talking. She tells him how sorry she is and that she never meant to hurt him like that. It almost seems like the two are making amends for their actions when all of a sudden, Alex turns around and sees Sparrow.
You! What are you doing here? You broke my heart. You toyed with my life and threw it away, and now you're here? This was all your idea, wasn't it? You just wanted revenge. I don't believe this.
I was upset. It's not easy being dead, you know. I mean, you'll see for yourself.
I never want to see you again. Either of you.
Wait! Alex! Wait!
While it might have not been the ending that Victor wanted, it did score me 100 more renown points. At this point in time, I just needed 38 more. However, quests were running thin. The next thing I tried was joining the Temple of Shadows. They're essentially the antithesis to the Temple of Light. They believe in doing evil for the sake of being evil. Yet, they're quite comical and don't take themselves too seriously.
Excuse me, sir. Can I interest you in joining the Temple of Shadows? Ah, excellent. You have to swallow every last bit, you know. The feathers, the bones, the beak. Oh, excuse me, please.
Oh, I can't believe you did that.
was still alive! 3? Ugh! You ate 3! Oh, the last one who got this far dropped dead! We could still hear the chirping inside his stomach. Oh! There goes another one. Extra crunchy. Oh! You don't have any scruples, do you? That is the vilest thing I've ever seen. And this, coming from someone who never misses Torture Tuesdays. Anyway, yes, welcome to the temple. You've earned your place among the shadows.
Welcome, young disciple, to the Temple of Shadows. I am Cornelius Grimm. You have entered a venerable society of dark worship, with a long history of wicked deeds and opprobrious transgressions. Fridays is poker night. Now, proceed down the hallway to our unholy wheel of misfortune, the most gruesome and terrifying device ever conceived. The instructions are right next to it.
The first quest that I tried with them was called Sacrificing to the Shadows. Alistair, the member who runs the torture wheel in the Circle of Sacrifice, gave me the lowdown. Essentially, I have to bring people to the temple, place them in the circle, and spin the wheel to execute them in some horrific manner. After enough sacrifices are made, I can cash in my loyalty points for rewards. Sounding easy enough, I thought it'd be poetic to bring a member of the Temple of Light here. Gaining their trust in Oakfield, escorting them to Rookridge, and placing them in the circle, the wheel was certainly interesting. As an evil character, it was entertaining to watch. However, renown points were nowhere in sight. This is a questline I'd love to make a video out of one day, so I figured I'd leave it out of this story for now. Running out of ideas, I remembered my good old friend Roland the Bard. He had actually set up shop at the Sand Goose Inn in Oakfield. Traveling over there, I tossed him a couple of coins, and he began to sing about my adventures.
I will now sing you my latest composition.
I am not petting you.
A ghost full of anger was after revenge. The hero found
You've done
love,
it.
but it was
Almost
all
everyone
a
in Oakfield has heard of you.
Strange how that tower seems to...
Now you can go back to the abbot.
The night.
Roland's song was nice and all, but there was one last thing I had to take care of.
You have to admit, anyone stupid enough to follow one of us down here deserves to die in the most gruesome manner.
Now it's time for me to return to the abbot, and hopefully I'll be able to locate the pilgrim. According to the fate cards, the first hero supposedly dons white robes and possesses unbelievable strength. Yet, they have a bit of a temper. Let's see if they're actually affiliated with the Temple of Light. There's a grand journey ahead of me, and this is just the beginning. Traveling back to Oakfield, I ran back up the path towards the Temple of Light and spoke with the abbot.
It's you. I prayed for your return. I heard what you did in Rookridge. I think you could be of great use to us. Come, walk with me a while. Now, nourishing the golden acorn is done with holy water from the Wellspring of Light. But the spring is located in a nearby cave, which is said to be quite dangerous. Our sacred text says 2 monks must enter this cave, the strongest and a second of the abbot's choosing. Obviously this concerns me, especially since the strongest monk here is my own child. So instead of a second monk, I have chosen to send a protector for the first. And that's you, if you're interested. The cave is just at the end of this road.
So it seems as though this pilgrim, the first hero, is actually the daughter of the abbot. That's more than likely why Teresa had said vision about the abbot and why he's so protective over this first monk.
Ah, I knew my lovely singing voice would bring the crowds. So you're my escort then? My father said you'd be coming by. there, boy. Hello. Oh, you're a strong, handsome fellow, aren't you? I feel better having you with me in that cave. Yes, I will. I'm Sister Hannah. Some people call me Hammer when they think they're being clever. They're not. But I can't do much about it because monks make a solemn vow never to bash anyone's face in. Did my father mention that? Yeah. Whatever fighting's to be done in there, it's all yours.
We require a hero, not a pacifist monk. We'll need her to find a reason to fight.
Sister Hannah, or Hammer, talks a lot during this portion. Like, a lot. But she does provide something of a comforting element. If anything, she almost acts more like the player than Sparrow does. Hammer asks a lot of great questions, calls out the world as she sees it, and connects the dot between a lot of Fable's lore.
Look up there. They're lovely. I think they're called wisps. Souls of the dead who never left this world. It's actually rather sad, isn't it?
Through her dialogue, you learn that Hammer wants to fight. She wants to wield her strength for good. However, she simply can't, and it's all due to the Temple of Light's policies and teachings. And while the abbot is still in charge, there's nothing that Hammer can do about it. So that's why I'm here escorting her through Wellspring Cave. Maybe that's just fate though, and perhaps that's something that we'll be able to change down the line.
Alright, this should be the central chamber. Wow, I've never seen anything like this, ever. Now, according to my father, we need to go through these 3 doors in order to collect the water. Putting weight on the pressure plates will open the doors. This one's the first. There you go.
Behind each gate lies a test trial of sorts. The first one has a room with a long, winding walkway. Above it are the wisps that Hammer called out earlier. However, they aren't doing anything right now, so it seems safe enough. At the end of the walkway is the fountain room. A common theme for these trials is that it's a dual effort from both myself and Hammer. We both need to stand on a pressure plate and let the waters flow. This area is quite simple. The plates are right beside each other, there are no disturbances, and we just have to wait for the percentage to hit 100. Once complete, Hammer and I are ready to move back to the central chamber. If only it were that easy though. Upon stepping foot on the natural bridge, the wisps started to make their move. Dropping to the ground, they formed into an enemy type called Hollow Men. Hollow Men are pretty similar to undead from Fable Anniversary. They're zombie-like enemies, fight using weapons, and can be killed rather easily. Their claim to fame, though, comes from their numbers. Typically, Hollow Men are found in big packs. As for maximum pack size, well, that's something you'll get to see a little further down the line. Once we fought our way back out into the central chamber, it was time to move on through the second gate. This trial is also relatively straightforward. The only thing though is that it tests the player's skill and or willpower. While the first chamber could easily be dealt with by melee combat, the same can't quite be said for this one. Hammer's pressure plate is on the main level, while my plate is up above on the platform. In order to efficiently fill the jug, I have to take aim and fire away at the Hollow Men. Certain spells and ranged weapons work pretty well here. For example, it took more than a handful of shots with my rifle to kill a single Hollow Man, but 1 or 2 casts of blades and I was able to carry the fight home.
Should only be 1 room left to go. So we're nearly finished.
That's often the point where the ground falls out from under your feet. Be cautious.
What in the world was that? Are you ready for whatever that was? Where on earth? Hey, come back! Who knows what's on the other side? You think he's all right? Okay, I'm getting worried now. What you got there? Ugh, that is disgusting.
The final trial has us wandering through 2 more rooms. The first ends up being an arena pit of sorts. Waves of Hollow Men spawn in and close in for the attack. While the attention is mostly on me, Hammer can end up catching a few stray swings. Again, with the Hollow Men, it's largely a numbers game. Their goal is to overwhelm me and let off a flurry of attacks. My goal is to spread them out and eliminate them as quickly as possible. After a handful of waves, the final round began. A headless Hollow Man spawned in and aggroed on. This is the final boss of Wellspring Cave, and it's a little tougher than Thag the bandit. For melee combat, it repeatedly swings its cleavers while it moves forward. If I get in close enough for melee attacks, it lets off this lightning spell. The spell is powerful, and if it lands, it saps up a majority of my health. The safest way to take on the Headless Hollow Man is to fire at it from a distance. Its only counter to that is to move forward and swing its blades. Once the boss was defeated, Hammer and I were able to move on.
This is it. This is the final room. Should be nearly done now. I know I said that before, but hopefully this time it's true. I think that's the last plate over there. Lords of Light, bless this water, that with it we may give rise to new life once more. As new life rises, so shall we.
Sister Hannah.
Brother Robin? What is it?
It's your father, one of Lucian's men. He's holding him hostage at the temple. He's got a gun.
I have to save my father. Come on, we have to get to the temple.
One of Lucian's agents has come to the temple. Go after her.
This is exactly what Teresa and I wanted, for the pilgrim to realize her true potential. However, this isn't how we thought Hammer's rise to power would happen.
Father, are you okay?
He's one of Lucian's men.
You're coming with me, or he dies.
Like hell I am. You let him go before I break you in half. No!
Don't make me kill you too. Oh!
Father! I could have stopped him! You idiot! You stupid fool! I could have stopped him before he... I'm sorry, Father. Not that I broke my vow. I'm sorry I didn't break it sooner. I never did fit in at this place. We both knew that. And now I'm making a new vow. Lucian will die for what he did to you. I won't break this one.
Sister Hannah, the blessing.
You do it.
As new life rises, so shall we. As the seed returns to the earth, so do we all.
Is that it then? My father's gone. The golden oak is flourishing again. So now life just goes on as before, does it?
The other monks may believe that, but your eyes have been opened.
Where did you come from? Who are you?
Someone who can tell you much about Lucian. Where he is, what his plans are, and how you can gain your revenge. If you will listen.
I want to know everything.
Then come with me, Sister Hannah.
Call me Hammer.
I've taken Hammer to the guild. You've done well, hero. You have gathered the first of the 3 heroes, and we are one step closer to defeating Lucian's plans. It will take some time for Hammer to overcome her grief, and longer to explain her role in Lucian's downfall. Perhaps this would be a good time to upgrade your equipment. I believe there is a sale in Bowerstone. It may well be worth a visit. Come back to the guild when you are ready.
That's one hero down and just 2 more to go, but at what cost? Hammer went through the same heartbreak and tragedy that Sparrow once did, the death of their closest loved ones. Similar to my character, she can use that anger and hate to fuel her revenge. While it's probably best she doesn't lose sight of her true self, that's exactly what we need. Teresa and I need for Hammer to become the hero of strength, someone who can break Lord Lucian and the Spire. Speaking of Teresa, as per her request, because that's usually a hint from the game itself, I made sure to visit the market. Buying some consumables and replacing part of my gear, I was ready to return to the guild hall.
There you are. I believe the second of our heroes, the mage, is in Brightwood. There is a powerful will user there called Garth. Do you remember that name? He was there the night Lucian killed Rose.
You didn't tell me that. How are we supposed to trust him?
Garth believed Lucian's interest in the Old Kingdom was purely academic, like his own. And Lucian, for his part, thought Garth was merely a brilliant scholar. When each learned the truth about the other, their partnership ended. Violently. You will find Garth in Brightwood Tower. I have seen a vision of him toiling on some ancient technology there. Surely he intends to stop Lucian, but he cannot do so without help. Go and inform him of our intent.
Garth indeed had a brief appearance at Castle Fairfax all those years ago. He was walking out of Lucian's office as myself and Rose were walking in. I can only wonder if he knew what our fates were, or at least had an inkling. Maybe he knew that the fourth hero would eventually make an appearance, or maybe he didn't. Perhaps that's something that might come up in conversation. The path to Brightwood begins at Bower Lake. Luckily, the connecting point is easily accessible, and it'll only take Sparrow 19 in-game hours to get there.
Someone or something is coming your way. I have never felt anything like it.
The air in Brightwood is different. Teresa's right, something's off here. The atmosphere is tense, and even the bandits seem troubled. Getting past the first couple of gates and approaching the tower, I could hear something gliding through the sky. Looking up, it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. A pillar/obelisk was floating towards Garth's lookout. Upon getting closer, the object stopped and shot the ground with lightning. Then, after a couple of moments, a new enemy type spawned in. Spire guards. These lackeys are human, but they are way tougher than your average bandit or hollow man. The guards are equipped with cutting-edge armor. It takes more than a few hits to bring them down. At the same time, they fight using razor-sharp swords and aren't afraid to fire their pistols from a distance. There are multiple squadrons stationed throughout Garth's tower, and getting past them isn't an easy feat. After a couple of minutes of back and forth though, I was finally able to reach the mage's quarters.
I'm never going back there. You hear me?
You're wrong!
You think I'm scared of you?
You're a freak. Lucian's failed experiment. Nothing more.
You left too soon, Garth. Lord Lucian's experiment was a radical success. You are coming with me.
There was nothing you could do. That was Lucian's commandant. And apparently he now controls a shard, an old kingdom weapon of great power. Lucian's strength grows ever more formidable, as does his mastery of the Spire and its awful machinery. Come back to the guild.
I was so close, but I just couldn't get there in time. While I managed to rescue Hammer, the same couldn't be said for Garth. Now, Lucian and I are even, one hero each. For now, it's back to the drawing board on how to proceed.
Sounds like you could have used my help after all. I knew I should have come.
We cannot allow Lucian to keep Garth. You must get him out of there.
There being the Spire? We don't even know what's inside that thing, much less how to get there.
There is one who might know. When Lucian left for the Spire, he essentially abandoned his staff. His old butler, Jeeves, now spends his days at the Cow and Corset.
His butler? I bet he saw his fair share of dirty dealings. Well, if it means a trip to the pub, we'll just have to make that sacrifice.
The task requires tact and delicacy, something I believe you're unfamiliar with, Hammer. Why are you staring at me?
This is the part where you say no offense?
A reunion with Jeeves could be exactly what I'm looking for. Even if Jeeves wasn't aware of what Lucian had in store for Rose and I, he still played a part in her murder. While I might not be able to take out my anger and frustrations on him, he can at least make amends and help me bring down his former master. As pointed out by Teresa, Jeeves spends his days at the Cow and Corset. His current lifestyle is definitely a far cry off from what it used to be.
So, for 1,000 I could buy a house and... Where does one even find concubines? Is there a concubine shop? I see you. Well, well, well. Another offer. Dear me, so many inquisitive minds. So many who wish to know all Lucian's dirty little secrets. Well, everything you want to know is all written down, and I know where. And here's something else that's written down. My price. Don't let anyone else see it.
It seems that Lucian's retainer has grown greedy, yet we need that information. It's time for you to earn some money, by whatever means you can. Your map will guide you in your search.
1,000 gold is no small fee, but at this point in the game and with what's around, it's not very difficult to attain. There's plenty of work as well as quests. I already had 404 gold coins saved up, so 596 more should be a breeze. At first, I wanted to embark on another contract for the Assassination Society. Last time, they paid me out 900 gold, which would be more than enough. However, it seems as though the work's gone dry with them, at least for now. So, I spent my time trying out a new trade, bartending. This minigame is a lot faster than blacksmithing. I had to pour drinks for customers, and every drink would net me some gold. All it took was waiting for the bar to turn green, and then tapping A at the precise moment. In the beginning, it didn't pay much, but as the multipliers and promotions set in, the job became more fruitful. Before long, I had my payment ready and promptly returned to Jeeves.
You have the money? My thanks. It's a juicy little collection. I assure you, you won't regret it. I buried Lucian's diary for safekeeping. This is the map to its location. I would show you where it is myself, but I've got some money to spend.
He's far too cowardly to double-cross you. The map will lead you to the diaries.
Following the Golden Trail, I was led back out into Bower Lake and close to the Cullis Gate. At first, I couldn't quite remember what this quest entailed. However, when I got to the dig site, it hit me like a ton of bricks. There's an out-of-place, large crater in the ground. Upon getting close to it, one of Albion's fiercest enemies spawned in, the Forest Troll. It's the weakest of its kin, but it still packs a heavy punch. For those who are familiar with Fable Anniversary, trolls can be very deadly opponents. They have quite a lot of health, and their weapon arsenal is vast. Ground pounds, rock trails, and boulder tosses. In Anniversary, the hero of Oakvale simply had to make contact with the troll, attacking it directly via melee, will, or skill. However, trolls work a little differently in Fable 2. They're defeated by destroying their nerve endings, or tendrils. These tendrils are visible all over their body and often requires the player to move around the battlefield. In my opinion, trolls are easier to beat in Fable 2 than they are in Anniversary. Or rather, it's a lower floor, higher ceiling type of scenario. A lesser experienced hero could easily dispatch a troll in Fable 2, but a more experienced hero could wipe the floor with a troll quicker in Fable Anniversary. In any case, once the beast was defeated, I pulled out my spade and began digging in the crater. Before long, I reached Lucian's diary. However, it was illegible to Sparrow and most others in Albion. Luckily, Teresa said she could likely translate it, and together we could learn of Lucian's secrets.
Welcome back. I trust finding the diary was not too difficult. Now, bring it to me. I will translate it for you.
You can read that, but your eyes are, you know.
I see other worlds than this one.
And in other worlds you can see. I don't understand.
Westcliff. Lucian is recruiting guards from Westcliff.
Oh, come on. Westcliff's a dump, full of brawlers and thugs. The only thing there's that arena.
The Crucible. Those who win it are physically tough and mentally weak. Lucian is recruiting the winners as guards. You must enter the Crucible in Westcliff and emerge from it victorious. It is the only way into the Spire, the only way to get to Garth and rescue him.
At last, some action.
Hindsight is always 20/20, but before leaving for Westcliff, I probably should have stocked up on more consumables. At the time, I wasn't aware of how dangerous the trek was going to be, nor what horrors lay ahead. The journey started off in Brightwood. The atmosphere was definitely a lot friendlier, at least compared to before. While the roads here still had their fair share of hobbs and beetles, guards patrolled the paths and traders wandered freely. The sun was shining and the game masters were wheeling and dealing. It was a sign of more peaceful times. After a bit of running, I finally caught up to Hammer, who was waiting for me by the access point.
What, did you get a job? Buy a house? I've been here for ages. Right, let's go.
From Brightwood, Hammer and I made our way to the Bandit Coast. This place is exactly as it sounds. After traveling a small distance, we'd end up running into groups of ruffians. Hammer makes a comment that the area seems abandoned. While it's not really true and most of the thugs are waiting to ambush us, one thing's for sure, Lucian's been hard at work with recruitment. As Teresa put it before, those with brawn and metal go to fight in the Crucible. Those lacking in brains are who Lucian picks as his Spire guard. The bandits along the coast and any in Westcliff will have made their way to the Crucible and tried their luck. The survivors move on to what they think is a grander life, a life filled with potential, spoils, and opportunity. However, as we may or may not come to see, life in the Spire is filled with torture and injustice. Left behind in these parts of Albion are those who would rather lead a simple life of crime and mayhem. Although, there may be another reason for the lack of numbers in Bandit Coast. The next area over is where the aforementioned horrors of Fable reside. They could be the reason for almost any disappearances in the land. But first, Sparrow and Hammer have to get through these parts, and I don't want to get ahead of myself.
This must be the infamous barricade. Doesn't look that tough.
Boss, we can't stop them. They're still coming. Stand and fight, you cowardly knaves.
This is where Sparrow gets introduced to the bandit highwaymen. They're a lot tougher than their regular ruffian counterpart. They're incredibly agile, have a lot more health, block better, and can deal more damage with a single swing. As you'll soon come to see, the highwaymen will have a larger presence in Albion, at least for a certain portion of the game, which is coming soon. Regardless, once this bandit camp was defeated, Hammer and I were finally able to reach Westcliff's access point.
I've heard a lot of stories about Westcliff. The place is supposed to be infested with Balverines. I heard this one story about these traders who got attacked. Balverines killed both parents, but the kids survived. A slaver found the poor things, took them back to his camp and locked them up in a cage. That night the kids turned, broke out of the cage and ripped every slaver in the camp to shreds. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Right by the entrance of Westcliff is a brand new sword, one that's more powerful than the hammer I recently purchased. If that isn't a hint from the game, then I don't know what is. Running down the pathway, it didn't take long for us to run into one of, if not the most fearsome creature in all of Albion, the Balverine. It's also that horror of Fable that I was just talking about. Balverines are like Fable's werewolves. Those bitten by these beasts get turned into one. From there, they show off the exact same behaviors: aggression, primal instincts, and a hunger for human flesh. They are incredibly quick, can leap great distances, have a plethora of health, and have ferocious attacks. For the Balverines, I found it easier to single one of them out and then to spam melee attacks until it died. Otherwise, the pair would be able to juggle Sparrow using their claw attacks.
Someone's in trouble. We've got to help her, come on.
Balverines attacked us. They killed my husband. They killed my Frederick.
It's It's all right. You're safe with us.
They took my son.
Can you show us where they took him?
I think so. Oh, my poor Robert. What if they've already...
I'm sure your son is all right. We'll find him.
From here, the adventure through a Balverine-infested Westcliff continues. Pairs of the beasts continue to descend at certain milestones along the road. For the most part, it's just myself getting good licks in. Hammer takes her time approaching the enemies, and it takes her even longer to wind up a swing. Eventually, the trio make it to some old ruins. Looking up, there's a whole pack of Balverines just waiting and watching.
Why aren't they attacking us?
This is where they took him.
Running into the ruins, the Balverines are still passive. As for the trail, it abruptly gets cut off at the keep's entrance. The dungeon is called the Howling Halls, and it seems to be the only way through.
You won't let anything happen to him, will you? You'll save him.
Just don't get too far ahead. You need to stay with us.
Oh, but my poor little Robert.
I know, but you won't be able to help him if you get eaten, will you? Who knows what's waiting for us down here? We've got to be careful. Why the road has to go through a place like this is beyond me. Couldn't they have cut down a few trees instead?
Children, I bring you
What is this place? There's nothing good, we can be sure of that.
As Lilith leaps away, this whole thing is revealed to be a setup. We were led straight into the lion's den, a trap. The battlefield is littered with the remains of lost travelers and innocent merchants, showing that the scheme has worked time and time again. All Hammer and I could do right now is fight for our lives. While the scenario seems bad, the fighting is actually a little better in here than it was out there. The Balverines are still coming out in pairs, so the brawls are still manageable. The battlefield is bigger. I feel like it's easier to move around and I can efficiently dodge all incoming attacks. As for Hammer, this time she's glued to one area as opposed to 10 steps behind me. She put in her fair share of effort and even distracted a couple of them.
She's right. Show no mercy and get out of that place quickly.
I can't see any way across that pit. There must be something we can do.
After defeating one more pair, I ran over to the other end of the chamber and had a look around. Our path to the other side was blocked by a spike pit, and things were looking grim. But then I remembered that I'm traveling with Superwoman herself. Eyeing a nearby pillar, Hammer gets clued in and comes running over. As she begins to knock it down, the alpha of the pack descends to our level. Lilith herself has come to finish the job. Lilith is essentially a white Balverine. For those who remember them from Fable Anniversary, they're a more ferocious and powerful breed of the beast. According to Fable's wiki, white Balverines were turned on a full moon, whereas their lesser kin would have been turned on any other night. Because of this small difference in timing, they were gifted, or cursed, with a stronger set of powers. They're bigger, faster, and stronger. They can change back to their human form at will and are capable of speaking. Their biggest weakness is silver, which can come in the form of weapon augmentations. However, as just displayed, it's not necessary for killing them. Once our immediate attackers were defeated, Hammer and I bolted out of the Howling Halls and emerged back out into Westcliff.
We made it. I don't think they'll follow us into the light.
Many die in their attempt to defeat the Crucible. But defeat it you must if you're to have any hope of joining Lucien's army and getting to Garth.
Conveniently, we were spat out right in front of the Crucible, our desired destination for this journey. Just before its great gates was the Westcliff camp. This is where all of Albion's top contenders train, rest, and network before risking it all in the arena. It's also where the spectators can grab an ale, some food, and chat with the combatants. You'll see bandits, commoners, game masters, traders, everyone from all different walks of life, yet everybody's cooperative. Wasting no time, Hammer and I ran up to the gates and spoke with the attendants.
Look, Murray, another pair of nobodies trying to get into the Crucible. Doesn't anybody know you've got to be famous to fight here?
Terribly sorry, but I'm afraid this is a rather brutal business.
And it's not just the blood-spurting decapitations. People only pay to see the big names, like Willie Widowmaker or Vice Grip Sally.
Not a bunch of unknowns.
Oh yeah? Well, what's your name?
Me? Everyone knows me. I'm Mad Dog the Strangler McGraw.
Best crucible fighter there was back in his day.
Bit redundant, isn't it?
What? What do you mean?
Well, why do you need the strangler part if you're already a mad dog?
Well, it's intimidating, innit?
Seems confusing to me.
Look, if you really want to compete, go and make a name for yourself so the crowd will actually give a flying...
Luck. That's all you need. A bit of luck, and you'll be famous in no...
Fine. Just come back when you're a somebody and we'll let you in.
How about we come back when you learn some manners?
Hey! Nobody tells Mad Dog how to behave. You can stay out for good, Tubby.
An impressive display, Hammer. You have managed to alienate the very men whose favour we need.
Only one of them.
Hero, you must find a way to impress those men, and you must do it alone. There are still many people in the world whom you could help or harm. Whether you do good or evil, your reputation will be made.
It's once again time to build up my fame, embarking on quests around Albion in exchange for renown points. This time I need 998 more, racking up a total of 2,500 for the Crucible. The difference right now though is that there are actually quite a lot of quests available, and most of them offer a ludicrous amount of renown. The first one I went for is called Red Harvest. It actually has me working with a bunch of bandits, and it'll help me further my evil/corrupt alignment. In order to begin, I was brought over to Arthur in the Bowerstone Market.
Well, fancy running into you down here. How you settling in? As you can see, I found myself a new place of business. Little out of the way, I grant you. But we're an exclusive agency. Well, I got a new proposition for you. These friends of mine, fine fellas to the last, they've fallen into a touch of vexation during a routine commercial transaction. You know how it is. Certain commodity needs to be got hold of, and the proprietor is, shall we say, disinclined to flog it off to said gentleman. Well, you restrict trading like that, the whole economy collapses. So we're going to have to nick it. The Mark is a farmer in Brightwood. He used to be a guard, so we could use someone like you. What do you say? Terrific. Now, my boys are a touch wary of strangers. Professional hazard. So when you get to their camp, you'll need to whistle 3 times. Off you go then.
Traveling to Brightwood, the trek to the bandit camp was quite brief. Upon arrival, I did as instructed, then sent the signal.
Pretty quiet, eh? Anyone got any cards? 1, 2, and that was 3, wasn't it? Yeah. Time to jump! I don't know. It's pretty high.
Good. About time Arthur sent us a competent grafter. Call me Ripper. That weasel told you what we're after, right? The farmer's name is Giles. Spent 30 years on patrol before he packed it in for a life of soil bothering. Thing is, he's got a little item tucked away in his basement we'd really like to get our hands on. Just don't try getting it yourself, you hear?
Damn it, Ripper! I told you I'd get it! Just need a little more time is all!
You lost what? 3 men last week? Another 2 this week? You're building yourself a nice little graveyard.
I got the wife, didn't I?
Yeah, that really helped us out, even. Now he's got an army of his pig pals to protect the farm. Probably getting ready to hunt us down, too.
And you think this hood can take them all on?
I've got a feeling our new friend will succeed. Or die trying.
One can hope. Listen, if you try taking the stuff in the basement for yourself, we'll kill you ourselves.
Giles's farm is just down the road. Unfortunately, the bandits don't accompany me there, nor do they help me out at all during this quest. Upon arrival, I was immediately aggroed onto by 10 or so guards, one of them being Giles. The guards were most certainly tough opponents. They had the strength of bandit highwaymen as well as the health. They took quite a lot of hits to bring down, and any of them who weren't engaged in melee combat took pot shots from the backline. However, what they didn't quite have was the agility. They were slow and stiff. They were usually vulnerable and would die to flurries of spam attacks. Before long, I found myself facing down Farmer Giles, and after defeating him, the quest was technically over. I received my 750 renown and was free to leave. Even so, I wanted to finish the job completely, receive my evil points, and take a look at what was in that cellar. Upon going down there and opening one of the chests, I stumbled across Giles' manuscript, no doubt the item that Ripper coveted.
You just had to go and find out what it was, didn't you?
Told you we couldn't trust him.
No, but we can certainly kill him.
That's all you had to say.
Ripper and his men weren't that difficult to defeat. The big boss himself had a fair amount of health, but a knockdown and a finisher move did the trick. While it felt like this quest was only just beginning, I moved on from this story in search of more renown. The next side quest I did was called the Summoners. The quest givers were located in Old Town, and their names were Max and Sam.
It was your fault. You're the one who found it.
You're the one who read the words. It's your fault.
You're the one who said I was a chicken because I wouldn't read it in the first place.
Yes, but you're the one who... Hey, look!
You have to help us!
He raised the dead!
Mother will kill us if she finds out.
You see, we read aloud from this book we found called the Normanomicon.
You're the one who found it, remember?
Yeah, and you're the one who read...
The thing is,
never mind.
We sort of
the thing is,
accidentally summoned a few hollow men.
A few hundred.
And now they have the book.
Only because you dropped it, you big girl.
Please.
You need to clear the graveyard so we can get the book back and put them all back where they came from.
The Summoners is a pretty straightforward quest. Basically, all I have to do is run around the graveyard and defeat 100 Hollow Men. The Hollow Men spawn in at different points throughout the area, and they come in at packs of 20. Before, I mentioned that their groupings could get pretty large, and while this may or may not be the maximum size, it's definitely up there. The task at hand though is pretty easy, as the Hollow Men die in a matter of 2 swings, so really, this quest feels more like a beat 'em up. It's a great way to farm XP, it's a neutral alignment, and when all is said and done, it gives me 250 renown. After the enemies are gone for good, I'm able to retrieve the Normanomicon and return it to Sam.
Right. What page was the undo spell on? Oh, here we are. Tantir, Barada, Kanda!
Mukluk! What?
That's it. Almost everyone in Westcliff has heard about you, for better or worse. Now you can go back to the Crucible gatekeepers.
Look who it is! A Crucible contender if ever I saw one.
Been causing quite a commotion, haven't you? Everyone knows who you are.
Why, there hasn't been so much buzz about a competitor since... Knockout Nora. Remember her, Mad Dog? Oh...
Yeah, point is, you've earned your place in the Crucible's parade of almost certain death.
She could have knocked me out any time, that Nora. Whatever became of her?
Anyway, make sure you're properly kitted out before you go in. The crowd gets ever so upset when our fighters die too quickly.
But if you live, you become a legend, and you'll be a shoo-in to join Lucian's army. I don't think any winners have turned that opportunity down yet. Private sector security work is very lucrative, I hear.
Right, no dogs allowed inside. Health and safety, you understand.
It's finally time to step into the Crucible. It's the next stage to rescuing Garth at the Spire and a stepping stone towards revenge. While by now it's probably obvious, for those who don't know, the Crucible is pretty much like the arena from Fable Anniversary. I step into the fighting grounds and have to endure 3 waves of enemies. There are 8 rounds in total, and each round brings on a new enemy type. The idea is that my opponents get tougher and tougher with each new stage. The fighting can be quite challenging, but there are a lot of other rewards here too besides just joining Lucien's army. There are riches, fame, and above all else, a boatload of experience. Stepping into the first round, it's a pretty easy one, and again, mirrors the original arena. Here, I have to face off against giant beetles. They aren't anything special. In fact, they shouldn't be, as they're supposed to be the easiest opponents. It doesn't take long for me to wipe out all 3 waves. Now, there are a couple of interesting gimmicks to the Crucible. Firstly, the audience, or anyone really, might be inclined to chuck some money into the arena. It's an easy way to make a little extra gold. The coin purses add up and definitely come in handy in just a bit. Next, there's the target time. That's how quickly the game wants you to clear through the round. In my experience, sometimes the target time is easily met, and at other times I'm way over. It really depends on the enemy typing. In any case, successfully completing the round before the timer hits the target time grants you a perfect round. Enough perfect rounds will get you some interesting prizes and XP bonuses. Speaking of which, lastly, there's the excitement meter. Before, I mentioned that you can get a lot of experience points from the Crucible. This isn't just through the sheer number of enemies you face, it's also through the excitement meter. Defeating enemies in a timely manner, keeping the attacks flowing, and just putting on a good show affect the multiplier. This multiplier directly influences your XP intake. So, receiving 5k worth of XP orbs can easily become 15k, 20k, or even 25k. Beyond those fun and interesting gimmicks, the name of the game here is survival. If you didn't stock up on supplies and consumables, much like myself, there are trader rooms that can bring you that relief. After round 3 is complete, there's a traveling trader who waits for Sparrow in the tunnel. He has everything from weapons all the way to potions. For what's to come, it's definitely best to stock up here. However, round 4 continues to offer a little bit more relief to the player. While rounds 2 and 3 had me dealing with Hobbes, 4 is all about Hollow Men. The first round is nothing more than a beat 'em up. 2 slashes with my steel cutlass and the zombies drop dead, or rather, continue to be dead. The second wave was pretty much the same, except this time some beefier wisps were brought in. They're noticeably bulkier than the other Hollow Men and take way more hits to defeat. However, they move just as slow and take just as long to attack. The third round had me facing off against a large group of just the tankier Hollow Men. At first, it seemed rather daunting, but after hitting them with flourish attacks and controlling the crowd, things were smooth sailing. Round 5 is where the fighting got a lot more challenging. Here, I was facing off against bandits. The scene had me standing on a platform while my opponents were directly across. They stood on a wooden bridge and fired their rifles. While will and skill weren't a necessity for this one, I could tell the game was nudging me in that direction. Wave 2 is where the bandit chieftains started appearing. They had the same toughness and appearance as Thag from the Bower Lake bandit camp. Wave 3 had me taking on all chieftains, and it certainly wasn't a walk in the park. This round had me going way over the target time. I ended up sapping up quite a few health potions too, but certainly not as many as round 6. Round 6 was by far the biggest pain in the neck. This one had me battling against regular bandits and bandit highwaymen. The arena itself was one giant walkway. Below it was the glowing abyss. On the outskirts of the platform, bandits were firing their rifles, taking pot shots from all sorts of different angles. Most of those bullets hit, and they managed to shred through my health on numerous occasions. The one thing that worked to my advantage here though was the environment. It didn't always work, but on occasion, I was able to kick a bandit down into the void. This obviously skirted most of the confrontation and sped things up a little bit. Not by much though, as you'll soon come to see. Round 6 took me a whopping 4 minutes and 40 seconds to complete. While I took a beating there, I'd argue that the bandit portion of the Crucible, at least from my experience, was the hardest segment. Up next was a second trader room. Here, I could spend my hard-earned gold on more consumables as well as weapon upgrades. Following this was round 7. Here, I had to face off against Balverines. Believe it or not, this ended up being relatively easy, at least compared to what I had already gone through. The Balverines came out in groups of 3. Even though my kit was largely the same as what I had in the Howling Halls, one thing was different here: my upgrades. I poured a lot of XP into brutal styles and physique. This allowed me to attack the Balverines with all new movesets and damage outputs. Focusing one at a time and keeping my distance from the other two, things were working out pretty well. For the third round, I only had to face off against 2 enemies, but one of them was a white Balverine. As intimidating as they are, they do have an exploitable weakness. While they go for their Fury Swipes attack, they can be baited into a corner and repeatedly hit over and over. This is because they have a flinch animation which stun locks them for half a second. Before long, I hit a perfect round and was off to the final room. Round 8 had me facing off against a rock troll. Its fighting mechanics are identical to the forest troll from earlier. The aim is to attack its tendrils. This is efficiently done through ranged attacks, working my way around the area, dodging its boulders, and finding openings. Periodically, Hobbes would spawn in and serve as a small distraction. This is likely meant to spice things up. As I mentioned before, trolls in Fable 2 aren't quite like their anniversary counterparts. But the Hobbes are only so strong, and they could only keep me at bay for so long.
Unbelievable! Incredible! It's an extraordinary superhuman feat of inconceivable proportions! Unprecedented, some might say, if they were unaware of the precedents.
He's as worthy a competitor as ever competed in this competition.
Indeed! All that remains is to congratulate our glorious winner. We hope you've enjoyed this most bloody and most compelling of Crucible editions. Fare thee well, gentle spectators, until the next time.
With the fame, glory, and riches now in my back pocket, it's time to continue with Garth's rescue.
Oh, congratulations! 3 cheers for the new Crucible champion!
That was something else. Best Crucible in years.
A classic performance that will be remembered for all time.
That was fantastic. I listened to the commentaries every step of the way. I even got in to see a few rounds. That one with the Hobbes, bloody brilliant. Really makes me want to have a go myself. Yeah, all right. Don't get a big head. You won't fit in the boat.
Well done. Not many make it through the Crucible alive.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
The Spire's not going to be much of a laugh either. You should take some time out before you go. Anybody you want to see or anything, now's the time. Anyway, I'll make my way to the docks. So you know where to find me when you're all set to go?
Hannah has a good point. Once you are in the Spire, leaving will be difficult. And there are those who still need your help on these shores. If you abandon them now, they will surely come to harm. Do not get on that ship until you are truly ready to leave your quests behind. Garth isn't going anywhere.
Now comes the true point of no return. Again, the game has a great way of foreshadowing future events and giving subtle warnings to the player. While there are a lot of interesting and unique side quests in this game, this story is about the main questline, and the show must go on. Feeling good and ready, I left Westcliff camp and headed for the docks.
There you are. Ready to start your glorious military career then? Pretty much got the mainland sewn up, have you? Well, here I am to say my goodbyes. You know the last thing I said to my father before I went to the ritual cave? I can't remember. I can't remember if I said goodbye that morning or not. That's the funny thing about goodbyes. You never know when you'll get another one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean... This isn't like that. You'll do great out there.
It definitely feels like a big moment. I can finally get to Garth. However, how we're going to leave the Spire, as the only way in or out is via boat, that's the real question. Maybe while I'm there, I might even get to see Lucien again. If so, perhaps I can end everything right then and there.
Right, no personal effects allowed on board, and no weapons. And no dogs.
Don't worry. I'll look after Furface here. And your stuff as well.
There's no turning back after this. Holding A, I left my possessions with Hammer and set sail for the Spire.
Look at this place. We've done well casting in our lot with Lord Lucian. Whatever he's planning, me and Lil are going to be set for life.
Get moving!
The Spire is simply incredible. The architecture and design are unlike anything I've ever seen before. Everything here looks natural yet artificial at the same time. It's like the caves and rocks from the waters below have been pulled up. Parts of a lost Albion erected out of the sea. The Spire guards here are equally as intense. They're arguably more intimidating than they were at Garth's Tower. Something else that can't quite be felt is this constant vibration. There's a low, rumbling noise that's always coming from the Spire. At first, it's a little unnerving, but after a while, it almost becomes peaceful. As the group of recruits reach the end of the line, someone's standing on a platform at the back. That someone appears to be quite familiar.
I never saw any building like this.
How is this possible? Old Kingdom engineering, I reckon. But then how's it come back now?
Shut it!
The world outside these marvelous walls is a corrupt, rotting husk. Reason is absent. Instead of order, there is only chaos. Chaos does not punish evil, nor reward righteousness. Chaos cuts innocent lives short, and we're to accept this as fate. I beg to differ. You stand in the center of a great instrument of change. With it, I shall remake the world, and my creation shall be unrecognizable in its perfection. But my will alone is not sufficient for such a monumental task. It is only through your toil, through your labors, through your conviction that Albion will be transformed. Do not fear the sound you hear, the throbbing you feel beneath your feet. These sensations will soon be as familiar as your own heartbeat. And so long as your heart continues to beat, all that I require of you is obedience. Now, sleep.
As the scene changes, it cuts to Sparrow sleeping in his bed. It's my first week at the Spire, and probably the first time I'm conscious since arriving. It's safe to say that I'm now in the thick of it.
Morning, maggot. Welcome to the Spire. Hope you like it, because you're never leaving. Right now, you're in the barracks. You'll eat and sleep here, and the rest of the time you will work, wherever the Commandant assigns you. Your job is keeping the scum building this place in line, and otherwise doing whatever the Commandant tells you without question. When you receive an order, you will obey it immediately. Which brings me to that new piece of jewellery you've got. The collar is part of Lord Lucian's obedience program. The Commandant will explain it to you. Main thing is, do what you're told. And don't try taking the collar off, because you can't. And the penalty for even trying is death. And not the quick and painless kind, either. Now report to the Commandant.
The Spire continues to impress. It has an ancient feel to it, yet mixed in its very walls are immense sources of will. It's a magical fortress through and through. Exploring around a bit, there's actually a ton of different pathways to take. Some lead into previously explored areas, and others make way into all new sections. While scouting around, one thing's for sure, the guard presence is astounding. Everywhere I turned, there was at least one or two of them just waiting and watching. Eventually, I ran into an old acquaintance, and through him, I came across another familiar face. This is an NPC that I've been actively looking for.
Hey, it's you! We arrived together, remember? How are you settling in? Can you believe they put me on guard duty? On my first day too? I must have impressed someone. Oh, if Lil could see me now. She's always loved the bloke in uniform. Though I don't think she'd like the mask any more than I did. They look properly intimidating, but I can hardly breathe in that thing.
I don't know how you got here, but I know what you are. It doesn't matter. Your power will do you no good as long as you wear that collar. Be patient.
Only the Commandant is allowed in his cell. Although he doesn't give me any trouble. Do you? Keeps nice and quiet. Anyway, can't wait to write to Lil, tell her all about it. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
I've managed to locate Garth, but getting him out of his cell is going to be extremely difficult. I'm undercover, and he's pretty much bare bones in there. It'd be too risky to lower the force field, so I'll have to find another way. But first, it's time to get acquainted with the vilest person in the Spire, the Commandant. There won't be too much time to explain it during the meeting, but with the Commandant, it sort of acts like a game of Simon Says.
I am the Commandant. You are Recruit 273. That number is not random. It was assigned to you because I have broken 272 recruits before you. You are nothing more than the next link in the chain. You have been brought here to oversee the reconstruction of the tattered Spire and to serve Lucian as he sees fit. My job is to ensure the obedience of guards like you. You will do everything I tell you, without question. Failure to obey will cause the device around your neck to activate. This is not a pleasant experience. You will lose your willpower, your memories and experiences will be drained away. This will continue until you submit. Perhaps you believe you will resist. Some do at first, a misguided sense of personal honor. You must decide, is your honor really that important to you? Now, come here. Obey me. Be still. Good. Now, look over there. The Spire has taken 10 years so far, and it will take many more until it is complete. This project is ambitious beyond your wildest imaginings. Yet our progress is not a miracle. It is a product of obedience. Let us see how well you have learned. I am going to hit you, and you are going to thank me. Because I tell you to. Now, thank me. Obey! Thank me for your pain. Obey! And once more, thank me. Obey! Excellent. Now, beg me to show mercy. You do understand the concept, don't you? Good. You learn quickly. That will be all.
The Commandant made me torture a recruit this morning. He overheard the poor bastard saying he missed his family. I'm glad I don't have a family. I just had a strange... Maybe it's the collar. Hard to think sometimes with these sounds. You know, I hardly notice it anymore. It's as familiar as my own heartbeat.
You have orders to report to the barracks!
On my way, sir.
Recruit 273, report to the detention center.
I'll talk about what just happened in a bit, as 38 weeks have officially gone by. But first, I need to meet with Garth again.
Be patient. Time has little meaning here. This place is powerful, but it is only a shadow of what it will become. And you hear it, the sound of our will being sapped. I don't know when we'll be able to speak again. The Commandant has threatened to move me somewhere deeper within the Spire.
The detention center is the next room over, and it looks pretty similar to where I just was. Arriving, I spoke with one of the other Spire guards and received orders.
Shut it! Ah, there you are. Stand here and guard these maggots till I get back. They're not allowed any food, though, so don't touch the controls or you'll be sorry. I'm gonna grab a quick bite. Mmm, tasty food. Yum, yum.
As the guard leaves, the 3-minute countdown begins. Behind each cell is a prisoner. According to them, they haven't eaten in days and are soon going to starve to death. This here is another task for the player's moral compass. Feed the prisoners and receive points for being good, yet disobey and lose yourself in the process. On the other hand, you can watch the prisoners starve and simply do nothing. This nets the player evil points and there are no repercussions, as you are obeying the chain of command. So, now would be a great time to quickly go over what just happened. Essentially, if you disobey the Commandant or anyone else who's giving you orders here, your collar will go off and shock Sparrow. This ends up sapping up a whole bunch of your hard-earned experience points. Disobeying goes directly against the order of operations here in the Spire. However, disobedience is typically the good and moral choice for all these tasks. Meanwhile, obeying is usually the evil and corrupt choice. Following orders leads to others suffering and often to their death. As mentioned before, there aren't any consequences for obeying, and really, those who are embarking on an evil and corrupt playthrough have the upper hand in the Spire. Now, when I first met Bob, he kept raving about his wife Lil and how much he loved her. The Spire was supposed to bring economic stability to his household. He came to work here in order to give his wife a better life. However, after just talking to him, he seems to have forgotten about the outside world. Bob can't remember his old life, nor his wife Lil. This is all the Spire's doing. It has a way of sapping its inhabitants' will and life force, regardless of obedience. All your memories, habits, passions, likes, dislikes, everything that made you, you, slowly gets taken away. Only the strong-willed, like Garth and Sparrow, can possibly hope to retain themselves. Let's just say, though, that choosing to feed prisoners is among the easiest decisions that I'll have to make.
I can't even remember. Alright, I'll take it from here. They won't last another night. Commandant won't be pleased. For pity's sake.
The Commandant wants to see you.
At this point, 137 weeks have passed, and it seems like I'm no closer to my goal.
The Commandant's right to keep this one caged. He's dangerous, he is.
Hey,
what are you doing in there, you
break your will.
The guy is mental.
It's been almost 3 years since I first arrived at the Spire, and yet it feels like it did on week 1. Garth is still locked up, the Spire is still under construction, and escaping feels like an impossible task. Arriving in the Commandant's office, I noticed my acquaintance Bob lying on the ground. He seemed out of it. Dazed and confused, wouldn't even begin to describe it.
Of obedience.
You have done well so far. I have selected you for a special duty. I believe you know this man. Guard 268. I order you to be quiet.
The new world shall be unrecognizable in its perfection.
268. Shut your mouth.
All that is
those who do not obey can be made to. But those who cannot obey are useless.
I am nothing more than...
Take this sword.
Obey. Your orders are to kill him.
An unloved task slows the passage of time. An eternity passed within the Spire. Each day the great black walls grew. Each dawn grew darker in their shadow, and the deeds within the walls grew darker still. As years passed, the hero's task seemed ever more impossible. Lucian remained behind the great white light, Garth remained hidden, and others like the Commandant appeared, all as brutal and powerful as the first. And slowly, all thought of freedom or the outside world faded.
Officer 273, report to the Commandant.
At this point, time is irrelevant. Sparrow has lost track of how long he's been in here for. I'm now an officer of the Spire. I've become what I've been fighting against. The men I once killed and defeated in the name of justice are now my brothers in arms.
Construction of the upper tier begins tomorrow. The man guarding the site is overdue reporting in. I need someone dependable to check the site. If you find the man in dereliction of duty, escort him to the torture chamber and await further orders.
Garth is all but gone. He's no longer in the detention center. Whatever mission I came in here for is now but a distant goal. Who knows if my contacts on the outside are still waiting for me? Who knows if they're even still alive? It seems with each passing month, week, minute, moment, the throbbing under my feet gets more intense. Surely this is a byproduct of the Spire's progress. It took many years to get to this point, and who knows how many more it'll take to finish the upper tier. Maybe this is Sparrow's new destiny. Maybe Teresa had it wrong. Perhaps he was meant to aid Lucian in creating a new world. Upon reaching the end of the glowing trail, I stumbled across a surprising scene. The guard that I had to check up on was dead. On his body was a steel cutlass, a steel clockwork pistol, and 3 health potions.
We meet again, hero. You came to rescue me. But you're no good to either of us with that collar on. There. I've removed it. It took me years to focus enough will to destroy our collars and that guard. I've got nothing left. So when trouble comes, it's up to you. The only way out of the Spire is through the Commandant's chamber. So ready yourself, and let's move.
Not all hope is gone. A glimpse of light in this dark void. Life had returned to my character. For years, I was just a cog in a machine, obeying commands and wasting away. Garth kept telling me to be patient, and I wasn't sure why. Sparrow wasn't sure if it would lead to anything. However, it turns out that the mage has been waiting for this exact moment. Everything's built up to the here and now. Now's our chance for freedom. Taking up arms, it's time to fight my way out of the Spire. The guards have been alerted to our escape, and slashing our way through won't be easy. All I have is the sword on my back, the pistol on my hip, a couple of potions, and my will. It's not much, but it'll work. The guards are certainly formidable foes. They have the same kit as I do, the Spire Guard uniform, a pistol, and a cutlass. Their advantage, though, lies in their numbers. It took a while to reach this area, and I had to pass by a lot of NPCs to get here. All of those NPCs are now hostile and will stop at nothing to put us down. Garth can't do anything right now but be a meat shield. So I'm left to hacking through anywhere from 5 to 7 guards per group. Some pods were easy, while others spanked me around. By the end of it, I was left with 1 health potion. Finally, I ended up making it through the Spire's hallways and into the Commandant's quarters.
We're not leaving until the Commandant is dead. I know what you're thinking, but it's not revenge I'm after. Revenge is just a fortunate byproduct. A new load of recruits is being brought in. Take a look. Now we need to find the Commandant.
After all the promise you've shown, you betray me. Lord Lucian will kill me for failing to keep order. But I am obedient, and so before he does, I will eliminate you.
This is the long-awaited boss fight with the Commandant. To date, this is the most difficult fight that I had to go through in Fable 2. Using Will, the Commandant has enclosed the space with shock powers. The battle has me facing off against him, as well as a couple of other Spire guards. The guards are a dime a dozen, and focusing on them feels like a waste of time. More will spawn in, and the Commandant doesn't let up. As for the Commandant himself, he fights using a blade and some basic will powers. After enough damage has been dealt to him, he teleports away from the fight and quickly re-enters the match. It almost acts like a reset for the encounter. As time goes on, more and more Spire guards enter the arena, and it begins to feel overwhelming. Meanwhile, the Commandant continues to get in my face, slashes at me with his sword, and casts some will powers. If you were curious on the Commandant's lore, he's essentially a wicked experiment. Lucian infused shards of the Spire into his body, hence his deformed head. This granted him unique powers like will and incredible strength. Due to the Commandant's survival and success as a soldier, there are plenty more where he came from, as you'll soon see. This is unfortunately where I received my first death in Fable 2. It technically isn't even considered dying, it's just getting knocked out. Without a resurrection file though, I lose a ton of experience and respawn with some gnarly scars. However, the match doesn't reset and I'm brought back in at full health. I ended up using this to my advantage, pressed the attack, defeated all of the guards, and killed the Commandant once and for all.
At last. I think it's safe to say you don't need to protect me anymore. We can use this to reach the docks. Now come on.
As Garth and I arrived at the docks, the hero of Will goes all out and raises the harbor. Almost every single ship is taken down. There's only one left standing, and presumably that's our ticket out of here. However, him and I need to go through a couple more guards before we can reach it. The thing is though, they're still not letting up. When one dies, two more arrive and take the fallen's place. None of them are difficult per se, and Garth can now deal some damage, but I could have been there for a very long time. Eventually, I followed Garth's advice and just kept moving down the harbor. Even though the guards were piling up behind us, the way out was forward.
Damn right, this ain't what I signed up for.
If you want to live, I suggest you all get back on the ship with us. I thought I would never see land again. I thank you for your help. Another friend of yours?
Your furry friend has been coming here every day for a week. He knew that you would return victorious, even before I did. 10 years. Welcome back, my friend. You have done the impossible. And Garth, I welcome you too.
Welcome me. You're in my way, so please step aside.
You know much about the Old Kingdom, enough to know you cannot destroy the Spire alone. We share a common aim. All I ask is that you listen to what we can offer you.
All right, I'll listen, but I promise nothing.
I will go with Garth. Hammer is at the inn in Rookridge. You should see her before we talk again. She'll be overjoyed to know you're back. Oh, and here, you'll want this. Take my hand, Garth. We have a great deal to discuss.
Do I have any choice?
With that, the Spire is now officially behind me. The second hero has been rescued and recruited. Things are starting to look up. However, it's been 10 years since I won the Crucible and boarded that ship. So much of Albion has changed. The world is different. Sparrow's different. I've seen what Lucien has created and what he's capable of. With each passing moment, he gets even closer to finishing the Spire and accomplishing his goals. That means that I also have to speed things up if I hope to save the world. Heading to Rookridge, a place previously overrun by bandits, I entered the Reformed Inn. While Rookridge may still be dangerous, clearly a lot of progress has been made for public safety.
If I didn't know better, it is you! You old bastard! Man, you look good considering. I can't believe it. You're really here.
Heard any interesting news lately?
Isn't that one of the people who got out
Is
of
it
the
me?
Spire?
Or is the Spire almost finished?
You did it. You rescued Garth. Took your sweet time, all right, but you did it. I never gave up hope. Kind of hard to when every day someone's whispering in your head about their vision of the hero's safe return. Honestly, there were a few times there I wanted to smack Teresa. Anyway, welcome back. So what was it like in there? As horrible as I imagined? Well, never mind, I'll find out soon enough myself. We're back in business! I'm meeting someone who might have some information on, you know, our number 3. You should go, you have things to do, people to see. As soon as I have anything we can use, I'll head back to the guild and Teresa will call you. Oh, and welcome back. I missed you. I'm glad that day that Doc wasn't our last goodbye.
You should take some time to recuperate before you come to the guild. You'll find the world has changed since you last saw it.
This acts as a time to readjust to the new Albion and to see what's out there. There are new quests and jobs available. Rookridge is just one of the few places that have changed for the better. Stores have all new supplies, weapons, and clothes for the player to pick from. Interestingly though, all it takes is a simple fast travel before Teresa summons me back. I still took the time to visit Bowerstone and to resupply, but afterwards, I resumed with the main quest as there's still plenty of story left to tell.
Did you see Hammer? She is on her way as well, with the information she's gathered.
Our friend has told me much about you. That night in the castle, your sister, I had no idea. If I'd known, I would have stopped him.
Sorry it took me so long. Lucien's men are all over the place.
You must be Hammer.
And you must be Garth, Lucien's lackey.
I was made to understand you might be mistrustful. I didn't anticipate your staggering wit and intellect.
Oh yeah? And did you anticipate that I like to take a hammer and whack smug little spell flingers?
This is not what we're here for. Hammer has information on the 3rd hero.
Mostly gathered from a tavern, I hear?
Not one, lots of them. I did a proper tour. Right. I think this bloke, the thief, is a pirate called Reaver. He runs the port of Bloodstone to the southwest.
And you got this from some drunk?
Yeah. He sailed with Reaver for years. Said they captured hundreds of ships.
Doesn't mean he's a hero. Lots of pirates capture ships.
Reaver takes down galleons with one bullet. High winds, rough seas, a mile away, doesn't matter. He picks off the captain. The more impossible the shot, the quicker the crew surrenders.
Impressive. But we're not trying to make Lucien surrender.
No, we're not.
Bloodstone is surrounded by Wraith Marsh on 3 sides, and Ocean on the 4th.
No matter. We can reach it via Collis Gate.
Not this one. It leads only to Hero Hill.
Got another one handy, have you?
I built one at my tower. It can get us to Wraithmarsh.
Okay, you're a genius. Does it work?
It will take some time to activate, but it should work.
Should.
You must do this together. Lucian has sent men to guard Brightwood Tower.
Okay, then let's go. After you, your brilliance.
Barbarian.
Before, I mentioned that hero number 3, the hero of skill, is one of my favorite characters in all of Fable. It's exciting to know that Reaver's gonna make an appearance soon. He's definitely an interesting character, and he's certainly a far cry off from Hammer and Garth. I think you'll all find him to be pretty entertaining. However, the trek to Bloodstone is going to be long and exhausting. The journey is filled with different kinds of horrors, some of which we haven't seen the likes of yet. Leaving Bower Lake and following the trail, I soon ended up in Brightwood. Not long after that, I met up with Garth and Hammer.
We shouldn't use the front gate. Lucian's men will be expecting us. Follow me. I know another way in.
It really is great to have you back. I went back to the temple for a while. Same old nonsense. Ignorant men trying to tell everyone how to live their lives based on books written 1,000 years ago.
Right. And nothing that ancient could possibly contain any wisdom.
Hey, these aren't old kingdom schematics that teach you how to build guns that shoot lightning. It's a load of superstitious nonsense that never helped anybody. And if you swallow it all, it can get you killed.
We may actually be in agreement there. But let's cut this short. We have a lot to do.
Just because we're all working towards a common goal, it doesn't mean that the heroes are going to end up as friends. There's some weird tension between Garth and Hammer, but for now they're able to put their differences aside and get things done. This is the first time in Fable 2 that I've had 2 fighting companions by my side, and it truly makes a difference. Garth and Hammer are able to take some of the heat off of me. While they may not be able to take out many enemies, I'm at least able to focus my efforts on 1 or 2 NPCs, quickly defeat them, and then sweep on to the next group. Before long, the trio of heroes made it to an overlook. In front of us was Garth's tower. Peeking down below, I could see that the tower was crawling with enemy forces.
Lucian's men. They're looking for me. They're between us and the Cullis Gate. We'll have to fight our way through.
Just how I like it.
This is where the real crawl began. As the 3 of us stormed the castle, Lucian's forces threw everything they had at us. Spire guards were stationed at every turn. Even though they weren't that difficult to beat, they slowed us down and forced me to use some consumables. About halfway through, we ran into a miniature shard. This one wasn't capable of spawning in enemy units. Instead, it was programmed to attack us. It cast several ranged, will-based attacks and seemed to only focus me. Soon, it switched over to some form of melee combat and started to close in. Packed a punch, but before long, it was successfully destroyed. However, in its wake, a whole squadron of Spire guards had spawned in. Furthermore, they were accompanied by a Spire soldier. The soldier has the same moveset and appearance as the Commandant. Thankfully, it's safe to say that the Commandant was a much tougher opponent, but the soldiers still hit pretty hard. In fact, from this point onward, they became a common enemy type. After wrapping up here, the 3 of us continued our ascension of the tower until finally we hit Garth's Cullis Gate.
I will need to concentrate to start the gate. I must rely on the 2 of you to watch my back.
Oh, sure. We'll do all the work while you sit there and think. Let me know when it's my turn for a break, will you? Is that a shard?
Amazing, isn't it?
A sunset's amazing. That thing's a bloody nightmare.
Much like Wellspring Cave, Hammer and I have to fend off attackers. This is while we wait for the power's percentage meter to hit 100. The fight definitely kicks off with a bang. The nearby shard spawns in waves of Spire guards and they aren't holding back. At first, it's easy enough for myself and Hammer to handle. The thing is though, powering up the Cullis Gate is a really slow process, and with each passing moment, the number of assailants only continues to grow. Before long, multiple groups spawn in at the same time. What's more, soldiers are starting to appear with them. They're able to pull us away from Garth and can then hone in on distracting the mage. As the Cullis Gate nears completion, the number of Spire guards becomes overwhelming. Garth himself even needs to take a moment to refocus his will. Finally, he's able to put that last little bit of power in, and the Cullis Gate officially becomes active. Grabbing my remaining XP, I stepped into the glowing light and traveled to Wraithmarsh.
Well, well, well. What have we got here? Is it alive? Yeah, you had a dog with you there, like. It ran off into the fog. The banshees will have it by now. Aye, you've seen the last of that mongrel, I can tell you. Here, you from Bloodstone, eh? No, you ain't got the stink of it about you. 'Tis a wicked place. Would be burnt to the ground if there was any justice. So, what do I do about you? Reckon I'll burn you as well. No, please!
You should be able to hear me now. You're alive. The Culler's Gate malfunctioned, and Hammer and Garth were sent back to the Guild. You've made it to Wraithmarsh, but you're on your own for now. Well, you're not entirely on your own, but Hammer and Garth cannot reach you. Be wary. The fog here is unnatural. Somehow it dampens the Guild seal. Bloodstone is on the far side of the marshes. I suggest you head there, quickly.
This area is certainly something else. It's abandoned, spooky, and grim. It's void of life, and above all, happiness. There's a lasting misery over Wraithmarsh. It reeks of suffering, defeat, and decay. Why that is, well, you'll find out soon enough. Running along the path, I ended up at the Drowned Farm. This is where the horrors revealed themselves.
Something in the marsh is controlling the fog, and using it against you. You need to find the source and destroy it.
This is the Banshee, one of Albion's most mysterious creatures. While Balverines are ferocious and dangerous, Banshees are unnerving and petrifying. They take the form of an ethereal woman, clad in red, tattered robes. Their scream is deafening and meant to demoralize their prey. As for attack moves, they spawn in 4 miniature shadows to do the fighting for them. Once the shadows have been vanquished, the Banshee is temporarily vulnerable and her health can be lowered. Interestingly, the Banshee preys upon the weak-minded, as they can speak to their prey. They say things about Sparrow's past that may or may not be lies. These are things like, what would Rose say if she could see you now? Do you think she would be proud? Do you think she would recognize the creature you've become? And did you know Rose didn't die right away from that shot? No, she watched you fall through that window, heard as your body thudded against the ground, and cried bitter tears before a final shot from Lucian ended her life. While these are pretty intense, it's best to just assume they're lies, or meant to mess with Sparrow's head. It's probably not a good idea for the hero to dwell on the past like that. Once the battle was over, I walked past the farm and stood before the remnants of a village that looked oddly familiar.
This used to be Oakfield, though it has changed radically since I saw it last, and that was a long time ago. It has seen many a cruel deed. 600 years ago, bandits attacked the village and burned it to the ground. The survivors rebuilt their lives, only to have them destroyed a second and final time. A new threat came from within. A reckless young villager made a deal with the forces of Shadow, who took the lives of every other resident as payment. All of his family, all of his friends, everyone he loved. And now, the marsh has engulfed the village, and Oakvale is nothing but a bitter memory.
There you have it. This is what's left of Oakvale. Oakvale is where Fable Anniversary all began. It's where Chicken Chaser and Teresa grew up. It's where Jack of Blades, Maze, and the bandits attacked. Teresa and Scarlet Robe were captured here, and Braum was struck down in the streets. Like I said before, even though it's a distant memory, there's still so much pain and anguish in the air. It's hard to forget an area that has so much bloody history. As for who betrayed the town and sacrificed it to the Shadow, well, believe it or not, I'll get to meet them later on. Continuing with the task at hand, the rest of the crawl through Wraithmarsh was pretty lengthy. I mostly had to fight my way through Hollow Men. Luckily, as far as enemies go, they're pretty easy to deal with. They move slow and attack even slower. Again though, the trek itself took some time, and at every turn, it seemed like there was a new group of wisps just waiting to get their licks in. At one point, I was introduced to the Elder Hollow Man. It's a little tankier and has different movesets. It's also able to strike with some basic willpowers. However, at the end of the day, a Hollow Man is only as strong as the group that it's in. Soon, I made it to another marshy area and had to take on a second Banshee. Because I'm also curious, here are some other quotes that I can say to Sparrow. Lucien laughs every night as he remembers that night in his study. He still keeps the gun with which he shot you and your sister. Hammer still thinks her father's death is your fault. One day, she will betray you in revenge. You think you're a hero, taking orders from a weak, old blind woman? Don't you have a mind of your own? The people you see, all the people you talk to, they are not real. You are alone in this universe. Terribly alone. Definitely some heavy stuff, and again, probably best to assume they're all lies. However, it is really thought-provoking to think about them as being true. Maybe Lucien does still think about that night. Maybe he still relishes in Sparrow's pain. Perhaps Rose would be disappointed in what Sparrow's become, and maybe her death was much worse than originally thought. It's enough to make the hero spiral. As the player nears the end of Wraithmarsh, there's one final enemy to take on, a troll. I found this to be the hardest troll fight yet, which checks out. After shooting its tendrils, its health didn't go down by much. What's more, the tendrils took a long time to become visible again. So, for a majority of the fight, I was a sitting duck, just waiting for an opening. The troll threw everything it had at me. Boulders, shockwaves, and ground pounds. The fight took quite some time, and I had my rear handed to me over and over again. However, after a lot of perseverance and patience, I shot off that final bullet and depleted the last bit of its health. The path beyond the troll led me to Bloodstone Road. Here, I just had to take out one final group of Hollow Men, which honestly felt like a breeze. After that brief tussle, I was home free, and the road to Bloodstone was clear. This new area was certainly a far cry off from Wraithmarsh. There was life here, luscious flora and active fauna.
The largest house in Bloodstone, that'll be Reaver's. I suggest you go and make the thief's acquaintance.
Bloodstone felt like it was trying to mimic Bowerstone, but with little success. Due to the nearby ports, as well as the lack of support from the rest of Albion, it's overrun by pirates and criminals. This doesn't necessarily mean there's trouble or lawlessness, as things are usually peaceful. But it does mean that the people here are a little rowdier, and the shops are a little less professional. Running through town and working my way towards the back end, I soon made it to Reaver's Manor and went on inside. It was finally time to meet the third hero.
Well, hello there. Always a nice surprise to have company. I don't get many visitors to my little coastal paradise. Especially ones who might well redefine a man's concept of paradise. Oh dear, and I thought there was potential. On the rare occasions that people make it through Wraithmarsh, they're lost, confused, scared. But not you. You are looking for someone. And if you're looking for someone in Bloodstone, let's be honest, you're looking for me. But I'm afraid I hate wasting time on nobodies. That's you. Tell you what, why don't you go out and rescue some travelers, or slay some beasts, or slay some travelers? The details are unimportant. But prove to me that you're worth dealing with, and you'll have my full attention. That's it. Scoot, off you go. Vamos, geweg, allez-vous-en. Do you think my buttocks look like that?
The There's nothing for it. We need his help, and he wants to play his little game. So you must play it. Or Lucian will soon get what he wants. With the Cullis Gate inoperable, Wraithmarsh cuts you off from the rest of the world. If you need to leave Bloodstone, perhaps a sea captain would give you passage.
Well, here I am. Once again, I need to prove myself to the world of Albion. This time, I need about 12,500 more renown points. That's by far the most I've ever needed to collect. Fortunately, the difference is that most of the current side quests offer a crazy amount of fame points. In just 2 quests, I was able to reach my mark. However, with heftier renown comes even heftier missions. The first quest I did was called Rescuing Charles. For this one, I had to meet up with Granny Miggins in the gypsy camp.
Charlie? Charlie, is that you? Oh, you're not my poor, sweet Charlie. I brought my darling little boy to Bower Lake for his birthday. He does so like a nice picnic. I only turned my back for a second, and he was gone. You have to find him, please. He's so very helpless. Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you. He ran off saying he was going to explore some caves. Playing adventurers again, of course, the silly boy. He might get scared when he sees you. So here, take this note, so he knows you're a nice grown-up he can trust.
From here, I made my way across Bower Lake and into the aforementioned cave. This is the Tomb of Heroes. Its name isn't really relevant. However, it might tip you off as to what's coming up. The trek through the tomb was pretty lengthy, but it was also uneventful. No enemies and no Charlie. Although, once I got to the final chamber, I started to hear the sounds of metal clashing. Rounding the corner, I saw 2 NPCs duking it out. Getting in close, I saw that one of them was a man and the other was a hollow man.
Ah, a fellow explorer! What spiffing good luck! Maybe you can help me. I say, what's that you have there? That handwriting, surely it can't be... Give me here! Grandmother, I should have known. My name is Charles. Charles! And I'm a bally brave adventurer myself. Oh, she does make my blood boil. How would you like some old woman telling you what to do all the time? Still, you don't seem like such a bad egg. Perchance you could lend us a hand opening this bother of a chest. Every time I get close, a band of those undead blighters shows up, ready to tear me limb from bally limb. Be a good chum and keep the beastly coves off me, will you? Soon as I start on the chest, the rotting rotters will start their dismembering japes. Just keep them off me while I work my magic on the lock. Isn't this exciting?
As Charlie begins to fiddle with the chest, the hollow men spawn in. To be honest, it's a pretty familiar scene. It's similar to Wellspring Cave and Garth's Tower. Enemies enter the room and I have to keep their attention on me. However, that last part was easier said than done. If I didn't make the first move on the hollow men, they'd book it straight for Charlie. On numerous occasions, I found myself desperately trying to pull them away. After a couple of waves and plenty of action, my new friend finally got the chest unlocked. With faded breath, we opened it up. Inside, there wasn't any treasure, or anything at all valuable. Instead, there was simply a looter's note. It read, "To whoever reads this, we're really sorry, but we may have accidentally cursed this tomb when we took the Normonomicon book from this coffin. You might want to make a run for it. Regards, Max and Sam." It's funny how life comes in full circles. From here, Charlie and I had to fight our way out. The hollow men from before were just the beginning. It was child's play compared to what awaited us. Legions of undead began pouring into the room. It felt like their numbers were never ending. Every time they started to thin out, more hollow men would spawn in and keep us locked down. Slowly, we were able to fight our way out of the chamber and into the next room over. Here, it was more of the same. An army of undead came rushing at us. Just when you thought it was over, more would suddenly appear. It truly felt like I was fighting more than 100 of them. The only saving grace, though, is that they fell in a couple of swings. Even if Charlie wasn't much help, I was able to flourish my way through the crowds and break through their numbers. After quite the lengthy battle, my friend and I were finally free.
By jingo, we made it!
Charlie! You naughty little imp, scaring your dear old grandma like that. How many times do I have to tell you, don't go where Granny can't see you?
Oh, Gran!
Don't oh Gran me. I don't think you deserve your birthday present this year. In fact, I think your rescuer should have it. It's the only way children learn. Thank you for bringing Charlie back, brave, gallant adventurer.
I'm an adventurer, Gran, and my name is Charles. Charles!
It isn't polite to shout, dear. Now let's go home and have a nice cup of tea.
I had a suspicion that this quest was going to net me good points, but it offered a decent amount of renown, so it was worth the trade-off. The second quest I embarked on was called Treasure Island of Doom. This one brought me back to Bloodstone and into the local tavern.
I saw him, it be true. With me own two peepers, I tells ye. Oh, they think old Jack's mad, but he's not. Ah, you there! I have a tale for thee, ye'll scarcely credit, of legends and vast treasures, and my throat is far too dry to go on. Thank ye. It does me a world of good, that. Now, listen to old Jack's story, and be amazed. Aye, there I was, laid down unconscious on the beach, an empty bottle of fire juice in my arms like some high-bosomed maiden, when I beheld his figure by a nearby cave. Captain Dread. So cold-hearted in life was he, I tell ye. He would strike his surname into your soul with nary a look. Why, I ran, swam, and paddled as fast as I could for a restorative brew, but no man here will believe me. You prove me right, won't ye? You prove old Jack ain't telling no tales.
Following the trail, Smuggler's Cave is beyond Bloodstone's lighthouse. Running a brief distance along the shoreline, I quickly made it to what's known as the Sinkhole. Entering the cave and diving to the waters below, I managed to capture the attention of Captain Dread.
Cursed be all ye who enter the domain of Captain Dread. The living ain't welcome in my crew. Dread's treasure will bring ye a watery death. This cave shall be your grave.
Not far into the trek, I ended up wandering into the mess hall. Here, I went toe-to-toe with Dread's ghostly crew. In the background, I could see the captain laughing and mocking Sparrow. The ghost pirates weren't any more difficult than bandits. If anything, they might have been a little easier. 3 waves of crewmates spawned in. Each wave contained the same number of ghosts, and the fighting was over before I knew it. Continuing along the trail, I soon entered a room with a locked door. My goal was to find some sort of key or mechanism. Looking around, I spotted a pressure plate on the ground. It was hidden underneath some cargo, and a simple smash job did the trick. Legging it further into the keep, I soon made it to Dread's old quarters. Here, there was a locked treasure chest. This time, I needed to find a hidden key. Searching around Dread's room, I looked in every container until finally I tried the end table. Key in hand, I ran back to the chest, opened it up, and found a lever. Unsure of what it did, I followed the trail back outside and had my eureka moment.
No! The Marianne is mine! You'll not take her from me!
Activating the lever, the water level ended up rising. I now had easy access onto the ship. Boarding the Marianne, it was time for the final showdown. More waves of ghost pirates spawned in. Captain Dread was standing by the captain's quarters, watching and waiting for his moment. The fighting here was very much the same as before. Simple combos, flourishes, and crowd control methods did the trick. Finally, it was time to take on Captain Dread. He stepped up to Sparrow, and the true battle had begun. I'd probably place Dread at about the same level as the Commandant. Really, the only difference is that Dread didn't have anyone to hide behind. There weren't any lackeys landing cheap shots, nor any NPCs taking my attention away. It was a simple and fair 1v1. Dread fought with a cutlass and had access to will-based powers. In the end though, it wasn't enough, and soon I landed the killing blow, or rather the definitive blow. With Dread's downfall, I was rewarded with a treasure map of sorts. Following the golden trail, it led me to the ship's wheel. Interacting with it, the ship had a mind of its own and started moving. Before I knew it, the scene changed and I was standing on some deserted island. This was Lion's Head Isle, an homage to the creators of Fable, Lionhead Studios. Here I had one simple job, or really 10, to find all of the hidden treasure. The booty was stashed all around the island. Some of it was rather obvious, and other parts of it were tricky to find. The only threats on Lionhead Isle were some beetles. Nothing that a couple of good swings or shots couldn't take care of though. Some of the treasure was buried underground, other parts were tucked away in chests, and one of them was even submerged underwater. You could definitely be here for a bit, but the reward is really nice. There's 15,000 gold just waiting for the player. This is game-changing money, as it can grant access to some of the best basic gear that Fable 2 has to offer. Once all of the treasure has been found, it's officially time to leave Lionhead Isle. Sparrow packs it in and hops back onto the Marianne.
You found the old dead sea dog. Aye, I knew you would, my lad. Finished him off for good and stole his ship too. The Marianne. Never thought I'd see her and count myself living. Aye, you'll be a legend among pirates for this, you will. And you proved Salty Jack ain't gone soft in the head yet. I can go back to my port without fear of ridicule. I thank ye.
With the quest complete, that's 13,000 more renown in the bank. That's plenty enough to gain an audience with Reaver. Now that all of these side quests are out of the way, it's finally time to collect the Hero of Skill and put an end to Lucian and his plans. Running through Bloodstone and up the hill, I reached Reaver's manor and resumed my conversation with the King of Thieves.
You're back! My men are positively buzzing with interest. Who is this person, they ask? Have heroes come back to Albion? And blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and I really don't care. You see, while you were out making your name a hovel-hold word, I discovered that you recently waltzed right out of Lucian's Spire. So, unless I miss my guess, and incidentally I never miss, you want me to help you waltz back in there and take him down. Tempting. Who knows what lovelies he has secreted away in there? But here's the problem. You've done all sorts of impressive things, and yet you haven't really done anything that benefits me. But wait, perhaps there is something you can do for me. There's a certain item I need returned to its rightful owners in Wraithmarsh. They live in an enchanting place called the Shadow Court. I'd do it myself, but my relationship with the owners is complicated. And while my associates here have their uses, most aren't terribly reliable. So, how about this? You run this little errand for me, and then I'll assist you in your quest for vengeance or riches or whatever it is that floats your particular boat. The item I need returned is just there. See? See that little objet d'art? There's a good lad. Just come back and see me when you've dropped it off at the Shadow Court. Tatty bye. Are you really suggesting my cheekbones are anywhere near that low?
The Shadow Court. It was they who destroyed Oakvale. There is a deep well in the center of Wraithmarsh, made of tombs. That is where they reside. Be careful. There is more to this task than Reaver lets on.
Well, there you have it. Remember how Teresa mentioned a villager sacrificed everyone in Oakvale to something called the Shadow? That villager was Reaver. Reaver is well over 200 years old. The story of his pact is more complex than it sounds though, and perhaps one day we'll get to hear his side of things. However, one thing's for sure, his ability to remain young, mixed with his incredible skill, makes him a deadly friend and foe. Regardless of Reaver's morals, he's needed to complete the trifecta of heroes, so at the moment, Sparrow's at his mercy. The current task at hand is to find the owner of the Dark Seal, and after a small trek back into Wraithmarsh, one thing becomes clear. The owner isn't human, or rather a living thing. The quest ends up leading me into the Shadow Court. This is an ancient and evil place. The halls are filled with shadow enemies. They take on various forms like hobbes, bandits, and balverines. There are several hallways that are filled with spike traps. In the distance, I can hear a woman crying, but I can't quite seem to get to her. Somehow, she's made it pretty far into the Shadow Court, surpassing all of the enemies and obstacles. In terms of fighting, there aren't a lot of enemy encounters, but there is a main wave-based battle. I found the hob and bandit portion of the fight to be quite easy, but the balverine section is where things got tricky. At one point, I was brawling against 5 of them. In an enclosed space with not much area to move, they certainly made their mark. I got tossed around, clawed, and ran all over. Fortunately, once the 5 were taken care of, that concluded all of the fighting for the Shadow Court. As I continued on my crawl, the sounds of crying got louder and louder. Eventually, I made it to this great big open chamber. Standing on a nearby platform was a woman named Elizabeth. On the platform across from her were 3 thrones. There appeared to be several skeletons placed on each one. Looking up and down, the design and build of this place made no sense. Things only got more unnerving.
Please, help me. Me and some friends, we were reading from this really old book we found. It had all these strange words. Then there was this bright light, and I woke up here. Where are we? I'm so scared. I just want to go home.
Welcome. One of you carries the Dark Seal. But there are 2. Only one is required. One will trade their youth and beauty so that the King of Thieves may retain his. This is the bargain we honor. The rules cannot be broken. We will take whoever bears the Dark Seal. You must choose quickly.
Please, I just want to see my parents again. What? No, you can't do this. Please, don't. Please!
From here, there are 2 options. It's why Elizabeth is here in the first place. I can either keep the seal on me and accept the consequences. Sparrow will be drastically aged up and his appearance will change. However, it's seen as the good outcome and it would further my good nature. On the other hand, if I give the seal to Elizabeth, her beauty gets sacrificed. I'm unaffected by this evil sorcery and it furthers my own evil alignment. Obviously, it makes more sense for me to choose the latter.
What? What happened to me? No!
Reaver has again fulfilled the bargain. But when the sacrifices stop, we will come for him. This he knows.
That was a difficult decision, but you are alive and strong, and that is what matters most. Go back to Reaver.
More than half of Elizabeth's life has been taken away. Also, Reaver could live past his expiration date. Through the conversation with the Shadow Judges, it's revealed what the pact with Reaver was. He wanted everlasting life. All of Oakvale slaughtered and destroyed just for one man's gain. Every so often, the King of Thieves needs to send a new sacrifice into the Shadow Court, and they must bear the Dark Seal. Exactly like what he did with Sparrow. Reaver thought he could get one over on the hero. If not for Elizabeth, I would have had to sacrifice my own youth. It doesn't affect the player's performance, but it does change their appearance and overall attractiveness. In any case, with my end of the bargain fulfilled, it's time to return to Bloodstone and for Reaver to join the cause.
I imagine your return to Reaver will be eventful. Once we have Reaver, your path leads straight to Lucian. There will be no going back. If you have left anything unfinished, now is your last opportunity to resolve it.
Like I've said in the past, these are usually hints laid out by the game. It's now or never for certain quests, jobs, items, and gear.
We're done. And you're sure that it'll look like me?
Exactly like you, sir. In 3 months, the picture will be developerized and...
3 months? That's no good. And looking as youthful and spirited as ever. Aren't you a tricky one? Good for you. You have my eternal thanks for delivering that troublesome seal. Now, I have a confession to make. While you were away, it occurred to me that Lucian is probably a bit miffed that you wandered off without his permission. Maybe miffed enough to part with a large heap of gold to get you back. And you know what? I was right. So, as fun as all this has been, I'm afraid I must now return you to the Spire. Lucian's men will be here at any moment.
All right, what exactly was that?
Reaver, the city's under attack! By a bloody army! Lucian's men! Dozens of the buggers! And the guy in charge is yelling at his men, "Find this Reaver!"
Me? Lucian and I had a gentleman's agreement. How dare he betray me? And just when I was in the middle of trying to betray you! How inconvenient. I recommend we flee down this rather handy escape tunnel.
Reaver really is a pirate at heart. Entering his rear passage, that's literally what the escape tunnel is called, he talks a bit about it. It was built by smugglers a long time ago, and he reminisces on the last time he was down here. A woman named Penelope set fire to the house because she found out he was seeing another woman named Ursula. And at the time of the arson, Reaver was actually sleeping with a guy named Andrew. Again, he's quite the fascinating and chaotic character, and I'm sure he has plenty of stories to share.
Lucian is using great shards to transport hundreds of men to Bloodstone. The town is overrun. You have to keep going and find another way out.
The peace could only last for so long. As Lucian's men begin piling into the mines, it's go time for Reaver and I. Together, we began blasting our way through enemy forces. Most of the Spire guards choose to keep their distance and take pot shots. I use this as a great time to work on my own skill abilities and to rack up all those experience orbs. Eventually though, the guards began charging at us and it was a quick switch to melee. As more explosions occurred, more and more enemies kept piling into Reaver's rear passage. They weren't letting up and surrender wasn't an option. Garth briefly touched on it before, but it's something that I have yet to go over. When Lucian attacked each of the 3 heroes, his goal wasn't to kill them, it's to capture them alive. He needs to channel the heroes' collective will and use it to power the Spire. The 3 have an extraordinary amount of power behind them, rivaling even the heroes of the Old Kingdom. If Lucian gets his hands on Reaver, Hammer, or Garth, it's game over. As for me, the hero of Bowerstone, Lucian gets ahead by having me killed. I'm the only one standing in his way, and I'm the only one powerful enough to stop his plans of world domination. Without Sparrow holding the team together, I don't think the other 3 heroes could hope to defeat him. You've probably seen it by now, but each hero has their own alignment within the universe. Hammer, literally coming from the Temple of Light, is kind-hearted and caring. She aligns more with the good and pure. Reaver, on the other hand, is conniving, deceitful, and cruel. He'll kill anyone and anything to get what he wants. He aligns more with the evil and corrupt. Then there's Garth, the neutral middle ground. He's stoic, sensible, and uses logic. He's probably not above committing harsh acts, nor is he below carrying out wholesome deeds. What he ends up doing is usually for the betterment of Albion. After a long, hard-fought crawl, Reaver and I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Nearly there. Ah, there's my ship coming in now. The Reaver. I was going to call her the Narcissus, but there was already one in the registry. One day you can tell your grandchildren of this day, how you fought by the side of the legendary Reaver, how he missed no target. Wait. You can tell them about that. Not that they'll believe you.
Apparently, Reaver could have done that at any point in time. That definitely would have saved me a bunch of time and effort, but hey, XP is XP. Leaving the rear passage, we ended up on Smuggler Beach. Waiting for us by the exit were some familiar faces.
She was right. They're here. Good to see you again. Hope we didn't miss too much.
Sounded like a massacre. Are all the soldiers gone?
Far away, I hope. I don't know how much more killing I can stand. Balverines and bandits behind every rock and tree, and everyone I killed, 2 more take its place.
All quite fascinating. I'm touched. I'm also leaving. Oh yes. 3, 2, 1. And any other lurking nasties in the tunnel will now have a bit of a headache. Which means I've just saved us all. Aren't I nice? In a few moments I'll be sailing away to safety on my escape ship. So, the way I see it, we're even. Toodaloo.
The infamous Great Shard has made its way to the heroes. This is truly a do-or-die moment. The Shard is able to transport an entire army of Spire guards to our location. If we're not quick enough here, we'll become overwhelmed, and Lucien will have all 3 heroes in the palm of his hand. It's 4 against many, and without trying to spoil too much, this is the last big fight of Fable 2's main storyline. Everything that Lucien has to offer gets thrown at us. Spire guards, Spire soldiers, small shards, and attacks directly from the Great Shard. After a little bit into the fight, Garth discovers the Shard's weakness. By shocking it with will powers, it exposes its core, and from there, I can damage it via ranged attacks. If I'm lucky, I can get 3 shots off with my pistol before the core closes back up. This takes down a sliver of its total HP, and that's how I knew I was in it for the long haul. Every time the Shard is exposed, that's my time to strike. However, this puts Garth out of commission, as he now has to focus his efforts away from the NPCs. That leaves the rest of us to deal with all of the heat. Hammer and Reaver are doing their best, but they're not good at closing out the fights. They can distract enemies, but after some time, Sparrow's the one who needs to run over and deliver the finishing blow. It's definitely a poetic last match. The 4 heroes of Albion, the champions of strength, skill, and will, all fighting together to save the country. It's what we were destined to do, and it acts as our last stand. The battle was long, the challenges were great, and the enemies were powerful. Many potions were consumed, and a lot of upgrades were taken. It was a fight worthy of Roland's magical songs. After a great deal of time and effort, I delivered the final shot to the Shard, and the piece of Old Kingdom technology was officially destroyed. Lucien's men were nowhere to be found, and peace had finally returned to Bloodstone.
We did it!
Now that's teamwork.
Yes, such fun. And with that, I'm off. Bye-zy.
You can't leave now. We need you.
Welcome, Reaver.
Delighted to be here, whoever you are. But, as I was saying before the enormous, pointy, flying boulder interrupted, I really must go.
Listen to me. If you do not help us, Lucian will control the world and every person in it.
Well, he's welcome to them. People are a bit overrated, don't you find?
Then who will you sacrifice to the King of Shadows?
Very well. All right, yes, I will help you. And after that, there's a good chance I will kill you. But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, what now?
We must gather at the Circle of Heroes. The ritual we will perform there shall provide us with the weapon we need to defeat Lucian.
Oh, this sounds like a barrel of laughs. Lion, eh? I would have preferred mute. What exactly does Lucian want?
Aside from godlike power? That's a tough one.
No, that kind of power is a means, not an end. What does he want to do?
When I knew him, he wanted to resurrect his family. Probably still does. But give a beggar 1,000,000 gold, he'll buy food until he's full. And then he realizes bread isn't the only thing for sale.
Now we can begin. Stand in the center. You represent that which binds the three together. Strength, skill, and will. Together you will call forth the great weapon that will defeat Lucian.
This is it, the moment I've been waiting for. Justice and revenge. For Rose, the abbot, Bob, everyone he ever hurt. Following Teresa's instructions, I stepped into the circle.
So now we just... do what exactly? Enjoy making that pretty light with you, but with that done, what happens now?
I don't know. We crossed beyond the far edge of my knowledge when he stepped into the center.
Wait, where's Teresa?
Well, this can't be good.
Enough power to build a new world, and you waste it trying to save the old one.
You're Lucian.
Open your eyes, Lucian. The ruins of the old kingdom are all around us.
And soon they will be buried under the new kingdom. And you're looking at the new king.
Pretender. Your fall will be hard indeed.
Deal still stands, Lord Lucian. King Lucian.
Oh, Reaver, will you shut it?
In fact, you can have these people for free.
And so I shall. And you as well.
Where is she?
Your fortune-telling friend?
What have you done to her?
I merely listened. I should have gone out into the dark and found your body that night. But I was hasty. I let the bloodline flourish. And you have flourished. But this time is different. The last of the heroic blood will flow out onto this hilltop. Misguided and weak. The last time I killed you, it tore my heart out. Of course, you were only a child. But then, so was I.
Death is not your destiny today, little Sparrow.
Come on, little Sparrow, wake up. Mum and Dad have gone out. You've missed saying goodbye. Come on, get up. It's beautiful outside. Come on. They won't be back for ages. We're gonna have such a fun day. I've got so many things planned.
It didn't work. Teresa disappeared, the other 3 heroes were captured, my dog is dead, and Lucian shot Sparrow. Again. This time though, I think he finished the job. The enemy has won, and Albion is gonna be in ruins. I'm unsure what this is, but I'm brought back to a different time in my life. Whether this was actually Sparrow's memory or a distant daydream is unknown, but one thing's for sure, it's peaceful. I'm a child and I'm with Rose again. We're at a farm property in the meadows. This seems like our house, or rather, our parents' house. They're apparently still alive. Outside, it's sunny and warm. I don't have a care or worry in the world. Rose has set up a full day of activities for me. Fun and simple tasks. There are 20 bottles placed around the farm, and it sort of acts like a scavenger hunt. I need to find all of them and practice my aim with the toy gun. Then there are the chickens. They've escaped their pen, and with a couple of well-placed kicks, I can put all 5 of them back inside. Lastly, there are the beetles. These stinging insects are in the crop fields, and for a little bit of exercise and play fighting, I can exterminate around 9 of them. All the meanwhile, Rose is following me around and cheering me on. She's making Sparrow feel loved and appreciated. She's taking care of him, just like how she used to. Like how she used to back on the streets of Old Town, when their parents died, and the 2 of them were left to live on the streets. When every day was a struggle, and they could barely afford to survive. When the worst that Bowerstone had to offer approached them and made some truly heinous offers. When they bought the magical box and made their wish. When Lucian shot Rose at Castle Fairfax and left little Sparrow for dead. Before I knew it, it was nighttime at the farm and my head was spiraling. What's real? What's fake? And do I care?
That was a fantastic day, but I'm worn out. Let's go to bed.
Rose is right. This was a day in paradise. I was brought back to a time where I knew peace and innocence. No responsibilities, no one telling me what to do, and no pain. Above all else, I had Rose, and I felt her love and care again. It was a feeling that I never wanted to experience the end of.
It's nothing, little Sparrow. Go back to sleep.
That noise, the music box, a reminder of everything I've been through, all the sacrifices and losses that led to this point, all the adventures and journeys that I've been on, all the friends, allies, and connections I've made along the way. It would be so easy to just stay in this perfect shell of a world. Rose is in my life again, and I can do anything I want. Why would I leave? But also, why should I stay? Well, it's the perfect world, it's not my world. Is it a paradise or is it a prison? This isn't really Rose, and this isn't really the family farm. Life is beyond this, and my destiny isn't complete yet. It's best that I follow the music box and see where it leads to. I have to abandon this cozy life, and I have to abandon my sister. If one thing's for sure though, the sounds of Rose's cries are enough to tear up my heart all over again.
Get back inside! You'll get me in so much trouble. Please, go back to bed. I'm scared. Don't go! Please, don't leave me again. I don't want to be alone anymore.
As Sparrow goes beyond the farm, the world begins to change. The once soft and quiet night has turned to chaos. The sky is red, the rain is pouring, and the music box is blaring. Continuing down the path, I begin to see the corpses of citizens. They're littered amidst the destruction and carnage of what will be Albion. The world is now ablaze, and it's filled with death and decay. This is a foreshadow of what's to come if I let Lucian win. He'll destroy the world and remake it to however he sees fit. If I don't do it for the people, the land, or my friends, then at least I can do it for the place I once called home. Approaching the end of the line, I laid eyes on the mysterious music box. This is the weapon that's meant to defeat Lucian. It started with this Old Kingdom relic, and now it's going to end with it.
Castle Fairfax looks so nice in the snow. If only we could live there.
Perhaps that could be arranged.
For centuries, this academy trained the most supremely gifted sons and daughters of Albion, bound together by the blood that flowed in their veins. Can you feel the power coursing through you?
Father! I could have stopped him!
That was something else. Best crucible in years. A classic performance that will be remembered for all time. Or at least as long as there are people around to remember it.
You will make an excellent soldier. Dismissed.
The rules cannot be broken. We will take whoever bears the dark seal.
And looking as youthful and spirited as ever. Aren't you a tricky one? Good for you.
The last time I killed you, it tore my heart out. Of course, you're only a child. But then, so was I.
You have passed the test. Your rewards are the opportunity to confront your enemy and the means to destroy him. Take the box and go to him.
As the scene changes, I'm brought back to the real world. I'm back in Albion. Well, sort of. I've actually been brought over to the tattered Spire. I have one goal left, and that's to find Lucian. There are no guards, officers, recruits, prisoners, or workers. It's just me. The only way forward is through the bright white light at the back of the spire. It's how I can gain access to Lucian's final location. Crossing to the other side, I came across a ghastly sight. Lucian was draining the power from the three heroes. Strength, skill, will, all of it was being poured into the tyrant himself.
Your power is astounding. Twice you've cheated death. Yet your abilities are trivial compared to the infinite power of the Spire, which will soon be mine. Now, sleep. What? What is that? What are you doing? Do you think a mere trinket will save you? Do you think anything can? Stop. Think about what you're doing. I will put an end to chaos. Stop now, you fool! You insect! I order you to stop! Flee! Do you consider that a victory? You're merely delaying the inevitable. All that you've struggled for will be crushed under the majesty of the Spire. Why must you interfere? What are you fighting to protect?
This is it. Lucian is vulnerable. He's no longer protected by the Spire and its powers. Now's the time to officially end his life.
Oh, I thought he'd never shut up.
Lucian's dead. So, what happens now?
Now. It is time you gained your reward. Your gift for saving the world from a madman's selfish dream. The Spire has awakened, and it still has the power to grant one wish. Yours. Come. Take my hand.
It's all right, little Sparrow. Don't be afraid.
You stand in the heart of the Spire, as the Archon of the Old Kingdom did thousands of years ago. Now it is your turn. Make a wish, but choose wisely, for it will affect all of Albion. Sacrifice. You may choose to revive all those who died in the Spire's making. It is a selfless gift. Your only reward will be the gratitude of Albion. Love. Those dearest to you, even your faithful dog, will be restored to life. But their lives come at the cost of the countless innocents who died in building the Spire. Or wealth. More gold than you can imagine, to spend on whatever pleases you. But any you loved, and all the Spire's prisoners will remain dead, and will not witness your newfound affluence. What will you choose?
Now comes the final reward for Fable 2's main story. The first option, resurrecting all who died in the making of the Spire, is a selfless act. This obviously aligns with the good and the pure. However, there's nothing in it for Sparrow, and he truly ends up losing the most. The second option is resurrecting my loved ones. This includes Rose and my dog. It would have also included any spouses or children that I lost along the way. It's all Sparrow's ever wanted, and it's considered the neutral choice. Then there's option number 3, wealth beyond my wildest dreams. In picking it, I receive 1 million gold coins. This is enough to buy anything I want in the game. However, it's a selfish pick, as I'm choosing money over lost lives. This obviously aligns with the evil and corrupt. I was beyond tempted to pick the resurrection of loved ones, but in the end, gold is gold, and I needed to put me first.
So be it. When you return to land, you will find wealth beyond the measure of man, and those who might declare you selfish or callous will be able to do little but bemoan their losses and seethe with envy. You are now evil enough to use the extort expression. Yes, a wish was made, and the world will bear its consequences.
Excellent choice. I'd have done the same.
Reaver agrees with your choice. Is that how low you've sunk? All the dreadful things you've done, I figured, whatever it takes to get Lucian, so be it. But this, you know what? I pity you.
Yes, but on to more important matters. What about me? What do I get? Cash would be nice.
That is up to you. I can send you anywhere from here. What do you wish?
I wish to return home, to Samarkand.
Oh, I've never been to Samarkand. Hot nights, exotic substances, and uninhibited people.
It's nothing like that.
Trust me, I'll find the exciting bits.
Fine, but stay out of my way. Hammer?
No, I'm done. I know why we got attacked in the cave the day we met. You brought those hollow men in with you. 2 monks would have found nothing, but a warrior finds battle always. I want to go north, study with those warrior monks. I was so sick of avoiding violence. Now I'm sick of causing it.
Goodbye, hero. I simply can't thank you enough for dragging me into this mess. Oh, I should tell you, I do have to make the occasional sojourn back to Albion. I have an obligation to some friends in Wraithmarsh.
I had my doubts about you at first, but I'm glad we met, and we shall meet again. You can count on it.
Guess I'll leave Albion to you. Not like I can do anything about it. You did some amazing things. Shame about all the rotten stuff. I guess this will be our last goodbye. Take care of yourself.
Farewell, Hammer. And now it is time for you to leave. The world is yours to enjoy, but the Spire is mine. Be gone.
And with that, thus ends the main storyline for Fable 2. The adventures with Hammer, Garth, Reaver, and Lucian are all wrapped up. All who died building the Spire are going to stay dead. My dog, while a loved companion, has met his untimely fate. Rose will have to stay as a distant memory for Sparrow. As for my character, he ends up with wealth beyond imagination. It's enough money for generational wealth. It's practically enough for my children to become king/queen of Albion. Returning to the Guildhall, my 1 million gold awaits me in a chest. The legacy of Sparrow, of the hero of Bowerstone, is forever cemented in the history of Albion. Whether that's a legacy of good and righteousness, or of evil and corruption, that's entirely up for the player to decide. I cannot stress how much I love Fable 2. This game is near and dear to my heart. I have so many fond memories of playing through it, and wouldn't you know, after playing through Fable Anniversary, so much of the lore now makes sense. Typically, I make the choices that steer my character towards the good and pure alignment. I've only ever played as an evil hero a handful of times, and yet it never disappoints. It feels like the game makes it easier to make bad decisions than it does good ones. But I suppose that's true to real life. Often the hardest choices are the best ones for everyone else. Cutting corners, taking the easy road, or being selfish typically leads to negative outcomes, so I think Lionhead Studios nailed that one. To me, the highlight of the story is always the Spire. This segment of the main quest has always fascinated me, and I feel like I learn more and more every time I play through it. The player has to decide whether they want to give in to their worst enemy, Lord Lucian, or resist and pay the price. Even for evil characters, obeying Lucian's commands and committing those atrocities isn't an easy feat. I've also loved how the Spire is capable of wiping one's memories and happiness. They get sapped up and fed to the fortress. Some people are able to change and adapt to the hollow void that's now their existence. Meanwhile, others outright lose their minds, and soon it ends up being the loss of their lives. A section of the story I grew to really appreciate was A Perfect Day. This is where Sparrow gets brought back to his childhood and reunites with Rose at the farm. It's a wonderfully simulated experience, but depending on your outlook, it's so much more than that. I never really took into account how this was supposed to make Sparrow feel, how it was supposed to make me feel. I've always just thought of it as a means to an end. Sparrow's perfect afterlife taking shape, and once the way out was clear, it was time to go. However, it shows that deep down, regardless of all the treasures, riches, quests, and people in his life, he cares the most about his sister Rose. Leaving her for a second time was probably just as hard as the first. He knows that by staying there, they could relive the perfect day over and over again. It's a sheltered paradise, and it's one that he wishes he could get back to. However, at the end of the day, he knows he needs to get back to real life, his life in Albion. This portion of the story is so much more complex than I remember it being, and it really caught my attention this time round. I wouldn't say there was anything that I outright disliked. Originally, I had mixed feelings towards building up my renown for certain quests. At first, I hated the idea of completing side quests in order to progress through the main story, as it came from a storytelling standpoint. I didn't think that the side quests belonged in my narrative, and was worried that their inclusion would sidetrack the whole story. Some of these side quests took longer than parts of the main quest, and I thought, how on earth am I going to make all of this work? But that's just it. If the main story of Fable is encouraging the player to go out there and explore the world of Albion, then that's part of the main story. The Abbot, the Crucible, Reaver, they're all components of the main quests, and they were urging me to embark on side adventures. So why not showcase them in my narrative? Why not make those events canon to Sparrow's experience? Fable has tons of fun and exciting quests, and one day I'd love to get to discuss them. However, the next thing on my list is to cover the last installment in the main series. And who knows, maybe the next one will come out sooner than later. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my telling of Fable 2. Until next time, keep on adventuring.